Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Gaming After Dark for this Tuesday, August the 4th, 2020. What a crazy year we're having, right? And I think it's just going to get crazier, but we're going to have one heck of a crazy-ass show. First of all, before I get over to my esteemed colleague and panel member and our guest tonight, guys, I want to just let people know that, unfortunately, got to let you guys down again like a friggin' penis that needs Viagra here. Yeah, we're going limp. We got no primal again tonight. Unfortunately, she can't make it due to some family issues that she's having right now. So just everything will be okay, but she can't make it this week. I do apologize for last week. We didn't have a show because I had a commitment. I know it's starting to become a weird trend here. Maybe I'll have to move the freaking podcast if Tuesday nights are going to be kind of crazy. But no, I think we'll be fine. I'm pretty sure she'll be back next week and all will be well in the world. Let's give a quick shout out. Obviously, well, before I give a shout out to the people in the chat, let's introduce my amazing co-panel member, Mr. Titan Drago. What's up, Titan?
Oh, not much, man. Just playing a whole lot of Grounded, man. I've been into that game like since it came out. Like my base is so huge, it's like literally breaking the game. They definitely did not design that game for hardcore players because it takes literally 20 something minutes to load my game, and then if I finalize placing anything, there's like a good 5-second like freeze period where until I can like actually move again. So, but my base is huge, and they just need to. I can't. They said they're going to do monthly updates for that game. I can't wait for that first.
Well, we see how Sea of Thieves improved, and that had some pretty slow load times and a bunch of stuff too. So maybe the same deal here with this one. Do you think it's also contributed to I guess the fact that Grounded is largely built on this older hardware and could probably definitely benefit when the Series X comes out?
Well, the SSD, that's just even if they didn't like develop for the architecture of the Series X, that SSD is still gonna help, right? Like, but I don't see I see this as like a software issue kind of thing, like a little coding thing.
Yeah.
I imagine they just got to do some coding workarounds because I remember games like this where you build massive structures seem to have this. The last one that did this for me was what was the game where the space exploration game where there's like a billion worlds and they're all created?
No Man's Sky.
Yes, No Man's Sky. Went in the game. Yeah. That game also used to crash on me too, and I think it's just a thing with these types of games.
Yeah, quite weird procedural worlds and a lot of heavy compute stuff going on between AI and, of course, the game physics and building and stuff. So it's got to be a very resource intensive game for sure. Let's get over and introduce our amazing guest for this evening. Couldn't wait to get him on. It's been a long time coming here, getting him on this panel, and he was one of our prospective panel, full-time panel members up until we just kind of made the choice to go with Drago. So I apologize for that, Axel, but glad you can make it here. So it's Axel 1324. Brother, how you doing?
Doing all right, man. I've been playing a lot of Paper Mario on my Switch, man. I cannot put it down. The writing in that game is so clever. If you are a fan of puns, this is the game for you. Like I just recently got done watching these turtles. The turtles in Mario. They were I don't know, worshiping a giant turtle, and they're like, "Oh, have you come here for some salvation?" I don't know, and the whole game is just full of these writing puns with the origamis, and it's the best Paper Mario since the 1,000-Year Door. Not as good as the 1,000-Year Door, but it's definitely the best one since.
Yeah, nice. How's the voice acting?
There is no voice acting.
It's me, Mario. That's
all the voices sound the same in my head.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, anybody can sound like anybody. Like Peach can sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger for all you know, right? Because you just make it up. Let's give a big shout out to the amazing chat who shows up here and makes this podcast what it is. We greatly appreciate you being here. I'm assuming there's a slow trickle in because dealers probably still podcasting, I'm sure, with the amazing crew over at RDX. But let's give a warm welcome to the people who have made it in so far. Big shout out to Dark Lord ALU or ALU. I'm not sure if he pronounces it that way at the end. We got the always fantastic Timothy Dixon here with us. We got Draven Arrow, another regular middle-aged game guys up in the house. We have Spider-Man 356, another regular who is here with us. Thanks, Spider-Man. Wild Bates is in the house. Dreadpool is strolling in. Dread, I got to get you on the panel here some week, brother. So we're off to a good start. We got some great people in the house. Amazing panel tonight. Like I said, Prime can't be here, but we got some juicy topics. Can't wait to dive into them and see how the panel feels about all the stuff that's going down in the world of video games and so much more. So let's quickly jump into obviously the first topic of the evening, and this one caused a bit of a stir. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit choked with it. It's not the be all end all or the end of the freaking world. You guys might know where I'm going already. Zippity zip, zappity zoo. Spider-Man is PS5 exclusive. Well, I mean, not the game itself per se, but I'm talking about the character. For the latest Avengers game, Square Enix came out and announced that PlayStation, if you haven't heard, for the Avengers game that's coming out on the obviously Xbox One, PS4, I think they're getting a PS5 and Xbox Series X version, but regardless, the character of Spider-Man is now exclusive. Is it exclusive long term? That we don't really know. I'm assuming it's exclusive long term. I never heard the word timed exclusive, but they do say it is coming out for exclusive for that particular platform. So if you only own an Xbox and you don't have a PlayStation and you love Spider-Man, well, guess what? You're taking an old middle finger up the rump, and it's probably not going to be lubricated. So this one's a tough one to absorb. That's pretty much it in a nutshell, how it got this way, what the fuck is going on behind closed doors, and why Sony continues to pull dirty moves out of the hat like this for properties that aren't necessarily their own property. Like it's a property that's a Marvel Disney property. It's a character that's beloved by many around the world. And here we go. You can't play them if you own the Xbox version. It's as simple as that. And I will start with my amazing co-host, Mr. Titan Drago. Titan, what do you think of all of this absurdity? Is it super or not so super, bro?
It's not the biggest deal in the world for me personally, but I've seen and heard a lot of complaints about people and I understand it. It sucks that they get a whole extra character than the Xbox does, but in hindsight, like to me, it's like there's people on Twitter that like will take this and blow it way out of proportion, right? And then then they'll take something negative and pretend it's not there. Like I just want to see people like keep the same effort, keep that same energy more consistently, because does this suck? Yes. Is it the end of the world? No. Is it going to make me not want to buy the game? Me personally, no. I've heard people that say they won't, and that's how, that's on them, right?
Yeah.
But this isn't the first time this has happened. It's happened before with other games. It happened with Mortal Kombat 9. They got Kratos, right?
Mm-hmm.
So PlayStation had Kratos, Xbox, I guess. And I read a story about that the other day. I guess I think it was Midway at the time. Maybe it wasn't Midway. Maybe they already changed. Either way, the company got a hold of Microsoft, and I guess Microsoft never got back to them or didn't want anything to do with that goriness of Mortal Kombat. But so it's not, it's nothing new. It's just really nothing new. So that's
Kratos is different. Kratos belongs to Sony and Sony's internal studios. Spider-Man is a universally beloved property across the world. So there's a big difference there.
True.
I mean, that'd be like having Master Chief in the game. Obviously, you wouldn't expect him to show up at a PlayStation. Sony pulling this exclusive shit on a universal property like Spider-Man is almost like somebody telling a particular country in the world, you can't have Christmas this year because we got exclusive rights to Santa Claus. So that's kind of where we're going with it, right? Like if you think about it, I'm going to let Axel weigh in on this, and then I'll give you my 2 cents. Axel, how do you feel about this, man? Like I said, Titan summed it up pretty well and probably took the words out of my mouth, but how do you feel about it? I mean, Sony's definitely playing ball here, you know what I mean? And that's the difference between them and Microsoft. Microsoft, they're playing a different game of chess. Sony's playing a completely different game. So what's your take when you look at stuff like this?
All right, first, let me get started here. All right.
Yeah, I got the beer. I got the bottles tonight, so I can't make that sound. Otherwise, I would. I do
Open
it
one with your teeth. Ka-chink.
Oh, God, no.
Now, all right. So so Spider-Man's not exclusive, especially the digital Spider-Man. You know, the video game Spider-Man. But there's an old saying, and it's perception is reality. And the perception that Sony's given to casuals is that Spider-Man's exclusive to PlayStation. If you want Spider-Man content, it's only going to be on PlayStation.
Right.
So I think they're playing a lot to that perception hand, you know, where you're getting Spider-Man only on PlayStation. Now, do I think it's a big deal? Not really. I really don't care about Spider-Man. Like, he's not my favorite superhero. I don't care about the comics. The only reason I bought Spider-Man PS4 was to gift it to my nephew because he wanted it. But I didn't play it, nor did I care to. I don't care for the movies. I'm like the most I don't care about Spider-Man kind of guy you'll ever meet.
Right.
With that being said, you know, I understand that he's a lot of people's favorite hero. I don't talk smack about him. I just don't care.
Right.
So to me, it's neither here nor there because, well, it's kind of a non-issue. Mm-hmm. But when I stop to try to think about it, it's like, okay, so what is Sony doing? And all I can think is that they're playing the perception game. Right. You know, that Spider-Man is PS4 belongs to them. And in reality, it doesn't for anybody that actually research.
Yeah. Sounds like the only time you want to see 8 legs and red tights is if it's at a whorehouse.
That's right. The only things I want to see climbing.
4 hookers at the whorehouse, all in red tights. There you go. He's good to go.
That's right. I get the whole Spider-Verse in one day.
He's warming up already, everybody. He's warming up.
Oh, baby, I'm ready to go. You know, when I miss a week, I bottle this shit up. It just gets more intense. It's like a fart that you hold back, man. I'm telling you, it's got to come out, and it comes out hard. Oh, yeah, baby. Let's give a shout out to the chat here before we get into more stuff here, because we got some awesome people strolling in. We got Casket Repair in the house. We also got Back from the Dead. What's going on, brother? Yes, and a community game night coming up here this weekend. We'll get to that later on in the show before we end. VJ, what's happening, VJ? Glad you're doing well, man. Glad you could be here. Who else did we miss? Did we miss anybody, guys? Hopefully I've gotten to everybody in the chat. We're at 18 now. Send it out, guys. Share the love. Drop a like, you know, all that good stuff. Share it out. Invite your friends. Tell your women. Keep your kids away, though. This shit can get raunchy. All that good stuff, you know, unless you want your kids to find out the birds and the bees in a very vulgarized way. But yeah, look, man, it's simple like this. You guys summed it up. It does fucking suck, especially if you happen to be a huge fan of Spider-Man. Now, if you're a multi-console or multi-plat owner, I suppose, which I am, I have all the consoles. It's not as big of a deal because if I really want to play Spider-Man, I'll buy the PlayStation version, right? Ultimately. Right. But, and again, if it is timed exclusivity, then I suppose we could wait, but we don't know what that is. It could be a year. It could be more. We might eventually get the Spider-Man character as a paid DLC down the road, which is quite the possibility. Mm-hmm. But it still sucks for Xbox people that are exclusive to the Xbox platform, or people that want the Xbox version of the Avengers because they're probably picking up a Series X and they want the best fidelity version of the game. So I think this is a great way for Sony to kind of bring over more sales to their ecosystem. It's a smart move on their behalf. You know, it makes sense. I get why they do these things. Obviously, Phil has put it out there many times that he's not really in that ballpark of trying to get certain stuff for the Xbox platform because he doesn't believe in it. He believes people should be able to play. But, you know, my thought is, you know, if one company wants to play with fire, you play with fire. You step into a boxing ring and a guy clocks you upside the freaking head. Well, guess what? In my world, you get in the clock back and you go to say, well, thank you very much, sir. I'll sit in my corner now. And I ain't shit how that works, man. Mm-hmm. So, you know what? I'm okay with Xbox playing hardball. They did in the past. It's not like I'm saying Microsoft is perfect. They had their fucking own share of shit back in the day, but it's just constantly now you just see constant maps for PlayStation or timed exclusivity on this for PlayStation. You're seeing all sorts of games. It's not just the Avengers and the Marvel and the Spider-Man stuff. And where does it end? Like, eventually, are we going to get to the point in the next 5 or 6 years where perhaps a certain game, like, I'm starting to think, the sequel for Avengers only going to come with one playable character and the rest is behind a paywall. Or maybe 4 or 5 different guys for fucking PlayStation. You know, if they really wanted to get dirty and they're willing to throw enough money at it, where does it freaking end, right? That's the bottom line. It just sucks. I'm going to buy the game. I don't want to boycott the game. I'm looking forward to the Avengers now for a couple of years. It looks like it's going to be fantastic. Thank God I can still play as Iron Man or the Hulk, which are 2 of my favorite Avengers. So I'm Captain America. I'm cool. It sucks without Spider-Man. But, you know, with saying that, I'm still going to buy the Xbox version. And why? Because I want to have the best version. And I love playing most of my games, especially my multiplats, on Xbox. I said it. There it is. So, yeah. So
yeah, I mean, you could do. I mean, you got two choices. You can get the Avengers version with Spider-Man, or you can get the Avengers at 4K. Which one is it?
there you
I'm
go.
always going to take the 4K personally.
Yeah, and apparently the version of Spider-Man, it's obviously not going to be the PlayStation 4 version of the character. It's going to be, I think they said it's more like a Stan Ditka, I think, and something like more of a comic book version of the character itself. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So, what's going on? We got Joe Dunmore in the house. What's happening, Joe? Anybody else? Yeah, I mean, and yeah, who is everybody's favorite Avenger? I want to go with the chat because we got Spider-Man says I like Thor and Hulk. Titan, man, who's your favorite Avenger of all the Avengers?
Good question. I guess I gotta go with Thor. Thunder God. Yeah, he was in Smite. I like him in Smite. I do like Thor.
Cool.
Like Thor a lot.
Now, are you more of a Thor comic book, or do you like the movie portrayal of Thor? Because I think the movie version is pretty wild too.
I'm actually all about mythology. So I love everything about mythology. He's a part. So there's my answer to that. Mythology, anything mythology wise.
Because in the comic books, he always wears that sort of that dome ass helmet with the fucking wings on it. He got more wings than Red Bull, right?
Yeah, I don't care for the helmet. Take the helmet off, Thor. I like the way he was played. Who played him in the movie? I can't remember right now.
Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth.
He did awesome. I thought he really fit the part.
Especially that last version where he's fat and he's sitting down drinking beer.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Man, I love that they did that.
That was awesome. They kept him that way the whole movie too.
Yeah, Smite needs to come out with a skin with him like that, man. That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be pretty neat. How about yourself, Axel? Any particular Avenger kind of your favorite?
It's always been Captain America. He was a soldier, or he is a soldier. I was a soldier. He's patriotic. I'm patriotic. We both have the same weakness, bullets. I mean, it's like we're the same people.
Nice.
I like it.
Great answers. I like it. I like how Axel brought the relatability into the character, which is cool. And very patriotic. Obviously, he's a shining example of the good things in the world. And he's definitely sort of, when you think Avengers, he's definitely probably one of the first guys you think of. We got Shameless Games is in the house. What's happening to Shameless? And Midway Monster is in the house, and he already dropped a $5 super chat, guys. Thank you so much, Midway. He says Sony is preaching exclusivity. Microsoft is preaching consumer friendly. Sony is saying that it's justified. It's right now with the game. It is. So fair enough. Good points. All right. Somebody else was going to chime in on something here?
No, I was just going to say shout out to Shameless real quick, man. He's like my COD buddy, man. We go hard on COD. And he started streaming lately, so pretty hard. So if you ever get a chance, check his stream out.
You bet, guys. And if you're looking for a great team to time, like I said, Titan and Shameless, team up with those guys. I guarantee you, I can't know if you're going to win all your games, but they will definitely be very competitive, and the guys will keep you in the fight. That's for sure. That's right. They're very good at it. So good stuff. And like I said, it is what it is. People are making a big deal out of it. I think it sucks. I think it's, it's a little grimy. It's playing hardball for the sake of it. But I know why Sony does it, because Sony is far more invested in selling their consoles, which has been the way that they've done business for the last, fucking how many decades, right? Microsoft still wants to sell consoles, but they're not as concerned about their numbers. They're concerned about their Game Pass numbers. They're concerned about engagement with their players. They're concerned about giving their players the best bang for the buck and keeping their player base happy for the most part. Doesn't mean they're perfect, no. Mm-hmm. But they're obviously the two philosophies between the two companies are starting to become very apparent and very different, much like Nintendo, who does everything completely back-assward, and those fucking guys are still selling shit like crazy. Switch is fucking flying. I think I saw the numbers from Japan, and it dominated again so far this year. It's killing everything. It's the weakest fucking console on the market. Nintendo's hardly made any exclusives for the damn thing in the last little while other than the Paper Mario. And yet this thing is just selling like gangbusters. So I don't know. Like I said, Nintendo's that anomaly. They got the fucking shit up the, magic wand up their ass, but they're doing it. And, kudos to them. How long that magic dust continues.
The
bottom line
exactly.
is with this next wave of consoles, what you're going to start seeing is that, and especially when the games really start taking advantage of PS5 and PS and Xbox Series X, the Nintendo Switch is really going to start becoming redundant because the publishers are going to be like, there's no fucking way we can port these games sufficiently to this platform anymore. Like, you can't push. There's only so far you can water down a game to get it on a platform that's like what, 15% of the console that you're building it for.
Yeah,
that's like trying to fucking stick 50 pounds of shit in a 10-pound bag. Okay, like, it ain't happening.
I'll give this to Nintendo though. They're the one company that like consistently proves me wrong. I feel like I pretty much understand PlayStation and I understand Xbox. But like Nintendo, they come out with the cardboard. I'm like, well, that's not going to work. And then I like turn around and people are buying cardboard. Like, whatever. I'm just, I guess I'm just going to keep getting proved wrong by Nintendo because I really don't think they got to change their ways. And I really don't see them being around too much longer. 10 years down from the road, I really don't see them coming around. Like, I don't see them being, a console company anymore after that point. Maybe they'll go to creating games like Sega. Like, I see that down the road for them.
Yeah, well, there's only so many times a gimmick is going to fly or a gimmick's going to work, you know what I mean, and that sort of thing. And they've always been successful, built on the strength of their first party titles. But I don't know. Like I said, you're right, Titan. The Nintendo is. I love Nintendo. We all have a soft spot for them, but they're like that one company that's so kind of outdated, but yet somehow stays in the race. It's weird. They're like legitimate. The guy with the 3-inch penis but the fucking 10-inch tongue. They're getting the fucking job done, and everybody's like, woohoo! So, Microsoft and Sony over there swinging the big dicks, right? Nintendo walks in the room just like a little fucking, what do you call it, dude from Lord of Game of Thrones there, walking in like fucking Tyrion. They're walking in like fucking Tyrion Lannister, man, just like, I'm smart and I know things. I'm small, I'm insufficient, but I will fuck you up, that sort of shit. That's Nintendo for you. Fucking Tyrion Lannister, crafty as fucking somehow makes it work.
Nintendo's in the space where Microsoft and PlayStation just haven't been, which is the mobile space. But Microsoft is about to get into that space really hardcore with Xcloud. So I don't know how long they'll be able to keep doing what they're doing.
That is a very fantastic point, Axel. Thank you.
Yeah,
and we're going to talk about that in a minute too. So
yeah, I'm just trying to decide to tell you, Nintendo dominates mobile, but if Nintendo was to play the Power game or the exclusive bangers game like the Xbox and PlayStation, they'd lose. I'm sorry, they would.
Yeah.
So they're definitely going where they're not.
No, true. They definitely go where they're not. Loon Smile in the house. Youngest O2 Infinite is here. What's going on, guys? Thank you for being here. You guys are freaking fantastic. Yeah, man.
Loon Smile, let me know, man. Do you play COD in the chat? Let me know real quick. Sorry, Noof. Because he was good at Halo, man. When we had that community game night, he was tearing it up.
It was all Loon Smile that night.
Yes.
He was tearing it up.
He was all making us smile like loons when we were done, that's for sure. Great chat, guys. Fantastic stuff. And I never got to mine. My favorite Avenger, you know what? And I never thought about this until now, that my favorite Avenger has a lot of similarities with my favorite DC universe, with my favorite Justice League character. My favorite Justice League guy is Batman. My favorite Avenger is Iron Man. And you're thinking, well, how the fuck are they related? Well, here's the correlation I made. They're both billionaires, right? Mm-hmm. They're both extremely smart guys. Neither one of them is technically a superhero. They don't have any fucking powers. Tony Stark is just an average everyday guy with a fucking nuclear cylinder strapped onto his heart or whatever the fuck it is. Same with Batman. He's just really good at combat, and those guys use their money, their resources, and their wits to basically build technology and things to get the job done. Tony Stark may be on a higher level than Batman because he has an amazing Mark IV fucking suit that he flies around in and he kicks ass, but that would be mine. And Tony Stark just something I can relate to him with in a lot of ways, although I wish I had 1/4 of his money and his fame. But but I think those kind of guys relate. I love Iron Man, man. I think he's fucking the beast. So yeah.
You're gonna get Iron Man VR?
If I ever get another VR, it will be I'll pick it up ASAP, but I don't have VR right now. So I'm kind of waiting to see what PlayStation 5 decides to do, if they're going to bring out a more modified and better version, and we'll see, because I really don't want to plunk down another $300 or $400 on a PSVR. I've already owned it twice, so this will be my third time. Yeah, new phenomics, guys, new phenomics. Yeah, so Yeah, let's get her going on. Let's move the topics along, guys. We got a lot more stuff to get into. Now, speaking of PlayStation 5, and again, this is not even like a heavy duty topic. But it's an interesting one, considering that again, the competition, again, I said consumer friendly, which would be Microsoft. Well, if you guys didn't know, if you already have Microsoft branded Xbox One controllers, those controllers are compatible with the Series X. So you don't necessarily have to go out and spend a fortune buying new controllers. If you want the new one, yeah, it's going to be new and improved. It will have the share button, but you can totally play your games just fine using an Xbox One controller. However, Sony just announced that if you're going to have PlayStation 5 and you want to play some of those old PS4 back compat games, well, you're going to need your DualShock 4. You cannot play your PS4 games using the new DualSense 5. I don't think for most people that's not going to make a difference. If you're buying a PlayStation 5, you're going to have the controller right out of the box, and I don't think you're going to care a whole lot. But let's find out now how my co-panel member feels about it, and our guest. So, Titan, I mean, bro, does that make you scratch your balls? Thinking of Sony, what you doing, man? You ain't bringing that controller over. Like, how do you feel about that? I think it's kind of like a non-topic, but I just thought we'd throw it out there.
No, I think it's a good topic, actually. Because once again, let's talk about consistency, right? The same energy. So, is it the end of the world? No, right? But does it suck for those people that bought $200, elite PlayStation controllers and can't, and basically have PS4 controllers for them only? Yeah, it sucks. What about, and it doesn't even stop at controllers, right? A lot of people aren't realizing they're stopping at this controller thing, but what about the $300 headsets for PlayStation? Those don't come over, right?
Right.
So then you don't get all your games to come over. Next thing you know, like I've just splurted out like close to $1,000 worth of stuff that you're not going to bring over to the PlayStation 5. Now, is $1,000 something that you can throw away? Not me. Right? It might be to you, maybe $1,000 ain't much to you, but it's a lot to me. And it's a lot to all of us, right? Or a lot of us, I should say.
Amen. Yeah.
So yeah, it's another reason I'm happy I'm an Xbox fan. And this is, it's never been done before. And a lot of people are using that as like an excuse. Well, this is the norm, right? Like, all right, but times change, things change. And in this case, Xbox changed for the better. I don't know how else to say it. Like, and the thing is, why can't that PlayStation 4 controller come over to next gen? The only difference is you can't blow into the damn thing.
It's because Sony said so.
Yeah, I don't get it.
The PlayStation guys say we're over here drinking the fucking Jugo juice or whatever the fuck it is, but honestly, man, I think it's the other way around because it's like certain guys in the Sony community don't realize how much they're getting fucking ripped off or like fucking just taken to the cleaners. Like, seriously, you know what I feel like when you're talking to a Sony fan?
Blind eye. They really do.
It's like if a Sony fan went into the doctor and said, well, if you stick this Brillo pad up your fucking ass, it's going to damage your asshole. Okay. That's as simple as that. The Sony guy goes, okay, man, I won't do it. Then a guy comes in, he's like a Sony PlayStation endorsed doctor and says, man, if you stick that Brillo pad up your ass with a PlayStation logo on it, it's going to tickle, but it'll be okay. Sony guy like, yeah, man, I'm buying that Brillo pad. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes.
Dreadful said in the chat, he's like, also the triggers, and he's right. The triggers are a little different. Just the standard rumble to the haptic, which I don't understand. I don't know how much of a difference that's gonna make. And all right, so you bring a control over and it just rumbles instead of haptically rumbles or whatever the hell, like it's still it should still work is my whole point.
I know this much. I hope the fuck EB Games and GameStops are going to be like super sanitizing those PlayStation controllers when they get traded in because they're going to have like months worth of fucking spit, jizz, and drool and everything in there. God dang it.
Oh, man. Could you imagine?
Can you imagine the possibility of the PSVR porn with a controller that you blow into now? Wow.
Oh, boy. Here comes that noose revving up that engine, boy.
You're going to get the haptic rumble right on it.
And the haptic feedback. There you go, man. I'm telling you. That's it. You can put
and then you got your robot little buddy.
Oh, yeah. You can put the sex dolls back in the fucking closet now. I'm telling you. Y'all, you need your PS5 fucking DualSense controller. You are set. You were set and you were wet.
that little robot buddy better not come with hands shaped in circles and like cheer for you.
That's on a little fucking suction cup hands like. Gotta look like fucking Astrobot with a couple of fucking mitts on them there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Does the robot haptically feedback?
Yeah.
And it's gonna ask you to tickle the robot with the triggers, with the responsive triggers.
Yeah.
He's like, oh
if I go to your house and I see that fucking robot face down on the couch, boy, I'm gonna get some ideas.
Woohoo! Good job.
Yeah. Why is he fucking slimy? I don't know. Oh fuck! Actually, man, yeah. How do you feel about it? Like I said, it's a silly topic. I really don't give a shit. If I'm buying the PS5, I'm gonna have the controller. Like, I'm not worried about playing my PS4 games or whatever with a dual shock or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? So, but you can't use the PS5 game with the backwards compat stuff, right? You got to have your old dual shock, right? Is that correct? I think that's how I read it.
I've heard it both ways. The way you're saying it, and then I'm also saying that the PS5 games won't work with the DualShock.
That is the way. That is the way. Your PS4 controller is for PS4 only. It's not gonna work on PS5.
Yeah. Well, Bates in the chat. Astrobot getting some action. Well, if you say his name slowly, it is Ass Trobot. So he definitely has an ass in his name. So there you go. Oh baby. Woo! My form tonight. I take a week off and my brain's just electric. Oh fuck. Yeah.
There is no good reason for the DualShock 4 to not work with the PS5. It uses the same from what I'm thinking it uses the same Bluetooth connectivity. It's the same signals. It's the same amount of buttons. Nothing really advanced. Changed between the controllers, but that's not really going to be an issue, like you said, because with your new PS5, you're going to get a new DualSense 5 controller.
Yeah.
And let's be real here. That PS4 controller is probably 3 years old, and the battery sucks on it anyway. You're going to throw it in the trash.
Yeah, I've heard the DualSense 5 apparently is supposed to get 2 to 3 hours extra battery life, which still probably won't be a lot, but it'll be a lot more impressive than the DualShock 4, which doesn't last very long at all.
It's an improvement.
So, and considering it's got a lot more tech in it, it's also an improvement. There's a lot more shit going on with that controller. So,
yeah, and let's be honest. The only games that are going to take advantage of anything DualSense is going to be the first party games, like the Xbox trigger. If you use the Xbox Elite controllers, it has extra rumbles on there on the triggers and whatnot. But only games like Forza Horizon 4 take advantage of it.
Yeah,
and everything else doesn't. So they're cool little features. So like I said, it's just like I don't know.
At the end of the day,
you get a new controller. Who cares?
At the end of the day, it's kind of similar to the whole Spider-Man topic we started. It kind of sucks, but it makes lots of sense. And most importantly, it's going to make plenty of money for Sony, because we all know that if they're going to come in competitively with the PS5, they're hoping to sell a ton of those consoles, and I know they will. Right. But if they're planning to come in on a competitive price point, then that means they're going to make very little on the console again, and they're going to have to make it up for peripherals. So it makes more sense to kind of recoup a lot of your losses from the console, or by basically making next to nothing. It's more or less force your fans to upgrade to all of your new components. You know what? It's not just Sony. Apple's notorious for doing it all the time with different peripherals and devices for their phones and their tablets and their computers. You always got to buy some new shit because Apple changed the fucking jack or did whatever. So they're not the first people to do that, and they know why they do it. They try to say it's for convenience and it's for technology, but we're not fucking stupid. At the end of the day, it's all about making that coin and finding new. They know if people want it, they're going to buy it. You're not going to sit there and bitch and go, I ain't going to buy another DualSense 5 controller because I fucking, because I broke. I need another one, So, right? This is how it's going to be. Yeah. Fucking blowing into it. My mama smacked me. She said, what the fuck are you doing?
Dude,
no. I didn't even see the hand coming. I was in VR land.
There is no way these new PlayStation 5 controllers are going to last longer than PlayStation 4 when you're blowing into it. If you blow into this thing with any type of consistency, right? Like you're like, I just can't get that meme on like the greasy fingers and people eating chicken and then your controls are greasy. Well, if your fingers are greasy, what the hell you think is in your mouth? And then you're gonna blow into the controller, and that's gonna get into the controller. Yeah.
You guys gave me a fantastic idea. If I ever pick up a PlayStation 5, I'm really tempted to find a really good spot in the game that requires you to blow in the controller. I'm going to whip my pants down and I'm going to fart on the fucking thing and see if it actually works. Well, that would be fucking awesome. Could you imagine doing an in-game action by farting on the controller? Then there'd be farticles on it, and then I'll have to sanitize it or throw it out. So, yeah, farticles. That's what happens when you fart and you got shit particles. It's farticles. Did you guys ever hear that?
I caught pink eye from playing with Noof's controller.
Hey, we got Iceman LMH in the chat. Iceman's another fantastic guy to be playing Call of Duty Gears and all those games. That guy is fucking awesome. Someone will be blowing Noof's controller. Yeah, indeed. That was a great chat, though, guys. See, that was just saying, like, we can talk about these topics and we have our points, but we don't have to take them too fucking seriously. You know, it is what it is, right? So, yeah, let's get down to it. Let's get into some more topics here, boys. We got lots of shit to talk about. This one was interesting. People were kind of taking this one and running with it because Xbox remodeled Xbox Gamepass the name. So now it's technically, well, it's still Xbox Game Pass, but they took the Xbox out of the fucking name and they just have the logo. The Xbox logo is there now. So it's still Xbox Game Pass without the word Xbox in there. And if you guys haven't heard the incredible news today, Game Pass, if you buy the Game Pass Ultimate, you're going to be actually have free at no extra charge access to over 100 games at launch or whatever of Xcloud. So that means take your Xbox games on the go wherever you are now. You can play. You just need an Android device. Yes, it's not compatible with iOS, at least at this point in time. Something tells me that it will eventually get there. We'll talk about that in a second. But I think it's fantastic news. I could give a shit what they call it at the end of the day, as long as you're getting a great bang for your buck. I think they're on to something here, and I definitely think that's a huge bonus. Like, if there's one feature that's going to make this digital asshole, old fart Noof Nukem get on board with the digital training Game Pass, it's the ability to take my games places with Xcloud. I'm really excited about that because honestly, the Switch has been a big letdown. Outside of a handful of Nintendo games, I don't really like taking that out. It's not even cool. I don't know. Like, if I fucking I'm 40-something years old. If I'm sitting around playing a fucking Switch in public, man, I'm probably going to get smacked. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus, it's just not cool to me. I don't know. Phones are less conspicuous. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I think that's a cool fucking shit. Cool beans. That's a cool announcement. It is official. Xbox actually tweeted it out. So it's not like a hearsay. This is coming down the pipe. So this fall, get your cell phones ready. They have the required criterion. I think basically you have to be on an LTE or a 5G network. You're going to want to have good connection, though. That's a big thing. Otherwise, you could face some lag, dead spots, all that shit. So,
and it's Android devices, right?
Android devices, yes. Tablets, Android phones, et cetera, you know.
I saw an article about why you can't why it's not going to come out to iPhones for a while because of the way the iPhone store works. Something about competition, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, Apple's going to be difficult. That's the way it goes. But it sucks for iOS guys. Yeah. But yeah, let's give a shout out to the chat before we weigh in on this. James176 is in the house. What's happening, James? We got our good buddy Failed Pyromancer in here. What's happening, Failed? We got Crazy Greek Dude. Crazy. I hope you get your internet sorted out, man, before the next community game night. Kind of sucked losing you last week or the week for last. We also got Tryhard Fan. What's going on, buddy? But anyway, weigh in on this, guys. We'll start with Axel this time. Axel, how do you feel about, you must be pretty excited about this. Hey, the ability to play Halo Infinite on the go?
Hell yeah. I'm already on, I have both access to the beta on Android and iOS. And
nice.
Man, it's amazing. It's the best. When I got it working, where I found out it works, it's a game changer for sure. The lag is so minute. You adjust to it very naturally because the lag is so minute. Right. It looks great. It's just, I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I'm never going to stop playing Halo. I might get fired. I already know it.
Imagine the opportunities this opens up for a lot of people at work.
I mean, if I can play XCloud when it comes over to PC on a browser, that's it. It's game over at work. I'm never going to be productive ever again.
Yeah,
in my life.
So what's gonna happen is you're gonna go to like a washroom break. You're in there with the fucking or you're in there with an Android phone and your controller playing an Xbox game. The guy in the next stall to you, the boss comes in because he got the PlayStation 5 controller. He's blowing into the motherfucking thing, right? He's like, ah,
You got caught.
It's gonna look really weird. One guy's playing, one guy's blowing. I don't know. Could you imagine how tired you'd be or how good your breathing would be if you had that controller and you're playing a game? You know, like remember that game Flower where your fucking flowers floating along? Imagine if you had to play the whole game and you had to blow into it. So you had to blow in different directions and keep blowing to make the flower keep flying. Holy fuck, man. You'd have a set of lungs on you like fucking Pamela Anderson after a while. You'd be like, you know? I'm telling you. Yeah, you'd be like fucking Kirby after a couple of months.
My favorite part about all this Xbox Gamepass rebrand was the tweet that Xbox put out, basically making fun of everybody. It was like the most rudimentary, dumb little tweet they put out of how Xbox Gamepass rebranding and how the X equals Xbox.
Right.
And like a kindergartner could have drawn it. And I was just like, oh man, they hit it all on the head. Not only are they saying it's the same, but at the same time, they're making fun of the people who were too dumb to get it.
Right.
I was like, man, that's
it's coming to every platform now. There's no Xbox in there. You know?
I like that voice, Snoop. You got to put a name on that voice.
That's Marge. It sounds like Marge can
screwed the fuck up. The rest of the podcast ain't gonna talk like this. It's like I'm like fucking Grover in a fishbowl and a fucking waster. Yeah.
Puppet Master Noof. There you go.
I just lost like 20 followers. They're like, what the fuck? You know, listen to this guy talking about Xbox. Like, Xbox Gamepass. Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
Like, is he masturbating over there to this? What's going on?
That's how Titan sounded after he got kicked in the nuts. Go ahead, man. Weigh in on this, guys. You can take it away, Titan.
You pretty much covered it. I never understood the problem with the Xbox Live Gold. I mean, I guess it's I've heard speculation about them removing, the word Xbox to possibly put it on other platforms, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's also a possibility. I mean, it's a step in that direction, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Xbox is making, like, think about the moves that they've made in the past year. It's absolutely astounding. All the positive moves they made, and like, and you said it earlier. They're not perfect, but literally, like, the community complains about something and it seems like they attack it within, we start hearing rumblings about them solving that very issue, months later. And this has been one probably, I don't know, a good year in the making, would you say? I've heard a lot of complaints about Xbox Live Gold and this paywall and this and that.
Yeah.
It's been around about a year, maybe two. And
I play on PC and Xbox, and I got to tell you, man, it does feel unfair that nobody on PC has to pay for the gold, but we do. Especially when Xbox started moving everything over to PC.
I'm glad you have that opinion because I was never in that boat. I always like to hear different opinions about this because I never understood the problem with it. Like, I never knew anyone that this personally affected. Maybe that's where I'm coming from. So, like, maybe that's my problem with it. But I mean, apparently it does affect people. Like, people are just, mad, they're mad that they like. I see here. Here's my perspective with it. Okay, and hear me out. I was, I was in the Navy when Xbox Gold, Xbox Live Gold first came out. Like, I think it was like Halo 2, I believe it was. And I was like, I got to pay for Xbox Live Gold. All right, whatever. Like, and I felt like those people that did that, like we paved the way. We got Xbox. Xbox took that money from all the gold subscriptions and they built like this amazing platform that we're all enjoying today. And they've expanded on it so much. Like, I don't ever regret paying that money, and I don't ever regret Xbox Live Gold being a thing. Just for that reason.
Honestly, I agree with you. You know, I'd like to see some of the paywalls and that stuff for the free-to-play stuff definitely drop for sure. But I know why they do it with PC, right? Because the bottom line is think about it. PC, what has a larger install base worldwide than any console? PC gamers, right?
Yes.
Right? That's the biggest thing. And that's what Microsoft's looking at. They're looking at install base. And if you look at like hundreds of millions of people versus what? Fucking 80 million people or 40 million to have an Xbox One console, like they are turning aside a larger market, and they're willing to suck up the cost and eat that to get more people on board with Xbox Live, just buying content from that service than charging them up front, because PC players notoriously have been spoiled. Like for years they've had free games or next to free games, or they pirated games. Like this is what I've always said. A lot of people that pirate games always said, well, I pirate them because they're too expensive. No, that's bullshit. You pirate them because you can, not because they're expensive. Because and I'll tell you why. Because if you charge 25 cents tomorrow for Halo Infinite, and a PC guy goes, you know what, I can get it free from my buddy. He wouldn't even pay the 25 cents. He'd get the free version. Am I right? So that's the way it goes. So the thing is with Microsoft, they're willing to swallow the bullet on the PC side because they're going to make way more money by giving them free access, gets them involved. It's the same reason fucking Fortnite does free to play, because it gets people in the ecosystem. And the more people you have, the logistics say the more people are there, the more people are engaged, the longer they stay engaged, is the more money they're going to spend on transactions. Look at how Microsoft games are doing right now, doing amazingly well with Steam since they came over, right? They're fucking killing it. Sea of Thieves is like one of the biggest games. And people don't get that. People don't get that. They think, oh, well, that's Xbox. No, Xbox Live started out as a paid service. We all know it's harder to go from a paid service to it's harder to go from something free to something paid, because people look at you as the bad guy. Well, it was free before and now you're charging us, right? But when you increase prices, people just go, well, it's an increase. We're all used to that in life. But boy, when you go from free to fucking automatic, you're charging, it's tough. And that's what I'm saying. Like, so Microsoft, I think that's where they went. They said, let's bite the bullet, because if we take out that reason for PC players to play our games, by going free, we're going to get hundreds of millions of engagements. We're going to get more people in our ecosystem, and they will buy transactions. They're going to buy cosmetics. They're going to buy this, that, something else. And Microsoft doesn't care if they make $6 million by selling one fucking game, or they make $10 million fucking by selling you fucking cosmetics for a game. Like it doesn't matter how they make money as long as they do it. So that's my philosophy behind it. And I think I'm pretty fucking solid in that fact.
No, you're right. Steam, and you know, I don't know if you said it in these words, but I'm just might reiterate it differently. Steam is the reason I think that this is happening. Xbox is making so much money from Steam. They own 4 of the 5 top-selling titles on Steam. Boom! Look no further, right?
That's right.
That's impressive. That's crazy. And you got people attacking Xbox? Like what? All right, what? PlayStation, where's your 4 out of 5 top-selling titles on Steam?
Yeah.
Right? Like, because your games are going to PC, right? All their exclusives are going to PC. Like, we've seen a bunch of them fall already. And God of War is going, right?
That's the nature of PlayStation games, though, because they are story-based driven games. They're going to last for like what, a fucking month, until people go tired of it and they're gone off the charts. In and out, baby. You know, people say one and done, but that's essentially that's what they are. People play them, they beat them, they fucking discard them, and they don't sell again until they put them on a big fucking sale or a sequel drops and people go, oh, I got to try that God of War game because number 2's coming out. You know,
it's the majority. You're right. And a lot of people hate that phrase, one and done. Dealer gaming is one of them, because I remember I used to always talk in a party chat, and I always used to razz Dealer like one and done. You know, he would hate that. I'd drive him crazy. And but I mean, the majority of people like view them as that. It is what it is.
Well, no, I mean, not technically. I mean, I know lots of people that play the game 3 or 4 times, but are you going to tell me that God of War gets even a fraction of the playability that Call of Duty's already gotten?
Exactly.
Not a fucking chance. Does it mean that Call of Duty's a better game? No, like, I love God of War. I think it's it's my game of the fucking generation to this point. But you know what? I'm not going to sit there and play it fucking 30 hours a week and then beat it and go, I'm going to play it again. 30 hours a week, play it again. Like, there's only so many times you can play it again, man. It's like banging the old fucking lady. After a while, it just gets fucking old. You know, I don't care who you are. You know, right?
I don't know if I can think of a different one. Think of a different.
We can't agree to this.
Come on, man. I don't give a fuck who you are, man. Sticking it in 100 times is not the same as putting it in for the first. You know what I mean?
I've been sticking it in for 10 years. I still enjoy it.
I never said you can't enjoy it. I'm sure I'd enjoy the 100 playthrough of fucking God of War, but when you know where every nook and fucking cranny is, you know.
What's this new mountain? Where did this come from?
Unfortunately, I'm like video games which come with cheat codes and modifications. You know, your old lady's going to come with the same old fucking
So
shit.
you got to play the mods, man.
Her instructions are the same way, in and out, right?
Blow into the controller.
Blow into the controller. I got room for it. What's going on? Graphic God is in the house. Cyber Gunter is here. What's going on, guys?
Hey, shout out to Graphic God for giving me this avatar.
Yeah, man. Graphic God's in the house. Good to see him here. I wish he could stay up late some night and get on this podcast. But yeah, I'll get him here eventually.
Graphic God, let me know, man. Can you create an avatar on Titan Drago better than the one I'm presenting right now? Let me know in the chat there. Go ahead. Take it.
I'd be willing to put money on it.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Man hits it out of the park. Not to say that your avatar is bad. Your avatar is fantastic, but
I understand.
Graphic God is the man.
I've seen a lot of his work, man. I'm very impressed. Very impressed.
Hey, it's Sildor's Bane. What's happening, man? Thanks for joining the show. Wow, we got one down thumb tonight. Who was that? Who's that dude?
I said something negative about PlayStation. That's all me.
Yeah, I was going to say, got to be a Titan Drago hater for sure.
Yeah.
Here, it's like, fuck that Titan. Thumbs down.
all down thumbs are my fault. That's almost guaranteed.
I'll tell you one thing about Xbox Live going free to play, man. The one thing that I've never minded about paying for Xbox Live is the security. If it goes free and we start getting this PlayStation Network security and getting hacked, I'm calling it.
That's a good point.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Xbox Live is not infallible by any means. It's had its fair share, especially in the last couple of years. I noticed it had more downs. But again, you know, you would hope to think that when you're investing in something, they're putting a money back into infrastructure to making it better. You know, they're putting it back into the services that we need. You know what I mean? So I never had a problem with paying this. It's a one-time fee a year. Like I tell people, you know, $60-$70 for the year, but yet, you know, most people are paying $40-$50-$60 a month for a fucking cell phone bill. Most of us never even use our cell phones where the fuck, but yet we're using Xbox Live almost every day and you complain about it. The only thing they need to get rid of, they need to get rid of, if the game is free to play, you should not need Xbox Live Gold to play it. And I think we're all in agreements on that. If PlayStation, you can play Fortnite for absolutely free without needing a PlayStation subscription. You can do it on a Nintendo without needing Nintendo Online. Then Xbox, get with the fucking program and drop that paywall period so people just don't want to buy Xbox Live Gold. They can still play the fucking game. That simple. Like, I don't know why it's taking this long when the competition's doing it. You know, honestly, in Xbox, like with Xbox Live games with Gold, just fucking get rid of it already, guys. It's embarrassing at this point. Jesus.
It's getting worse and worse,
it's
man.
bad. I'm sorry. It's fucking bad. I know it's free and we shouldn't complain.
They should just throw those games in. Yeah, you're right. They should just eliminate that and just throw those games into Game Pass.
Yeah, like most of the games now, it's almost insulting. You're like, PlayStation's at least giving you something, and we're just getting this old we're either getting really old 360 shit, or you're fucking getting some weird ass indie game you never heard of. You know, they're getting Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the fucking game. Yeah, I know it's like $30, but the game just came out fucking 2 months ago or something, and they're free already. It's like, god dang, right?
Definitely feels newer. Yeah.
Now, you know what fucking Xbox will start doing for Xbox Live games with Gold? They'll start handing out probably free 1 month memberships to Game Pass or something. That's probably what they'll do.
I'll tell you what, though, out of all the things that Xbox could be doing worse than PlayStation, I'm actually glad that PlayStation this is the one thing that PlayStation is beating Xbox on, right? Like something as minute as this. I'm so glad of that because I'm such a, you know, I don't own a PlayStation. Like, and I don't know if you guys saw that tweet. Optimus talking about you're not a gamer if you haven't, if you haven't played any of these PlayStation exclusives or whatever. Like, and he's wondering why he's catching a lot of flack for this. It's because it's kind of insulting, man. Like, I guarantee, and I tweeted about this. I said, I guarantee I have more game time in Smite alone than you have in every single game combined, right? And you're going to call me not a gamer because I refuse to buy a PlayStation? Like, it's a bad take. It happens.
It's a terrible take. You shouldn't define gamers by what fucking games they played or how long they played it. If you game, period, your passion is to play games, whether it's fucking Tetris or whether it's fucking The Sims or it's God of War for the 50th time or it's Call of Duty, you're a gamer, bottom line, you know? So, yeah. Because there's lots of guys in this community that claim to be fucking gamers, and every time you go and see them online, they ain't playing fucking games. They're playing Netflix and Hulu's pretty goddamn good, apparently. Those must be amazing games, you know? You get on there, so how do these guys have podcasts and talk about games 24/7? I never fucking see them play one. Makes me fucking wonder, like, how the fuck? How do you do that? I don't know. And there's guys out there, you all got them on your friends, like you turn on like 90% of the time, you turn on, you go down your friends list. Oh, watching Netflix again. That's fucking interesting. Where are they playing the games? They're always talking about the games, but I never see them playing one. You know,
it's funny you say that because sometimes I get on Xbox Live and I'm like, oh, I wonder who I can invite to a party to play some games with, and everybody's watching movies.
Yeah, no shit.
Sometimes,
I'll be honest. I've hardly played games in the last week. I honestly, I've had a shitty couple of weeks, guys. Like, I've had shit stolen out of my fucking garage. Like, I've just had a shitty couple of weeks. I just haven't been in a gaming kind of mood. I played that. Was it the community game night? Was it a week or two ago there? And we didn't do one last weekend or this past weekend. I'm hoping to do one this weekend. But yeah, so I haven't really played. I was playing Ghost of Tsushima like fucking nonstop there for a while, and I got to get back to that. So yeah, it's just one of those times, man, when you just go through some funks and shit's going on. And of course, the NHL playoffs are on right now, guys. I'm my Edmonton Oilers back in the series, baby, with the big 6-3 over Chicago. So yeah, boo on that. Yeah, so yeah, I'm pretty stoked now. Like I missed hockey so much, and we're in the playoffs, so it's all good.
You gotta bring a good hockey. We gotta get a good hockey game in the Game Pass and Xbox, man. Like I was looking literally yesterday for a good hockey game to play on Xbox, and I was like, I think I looked
did you try that Nintendo knockoff? That one called was it Blood Hockey?
Bloody Hockey.
Super Blood Hockey. That shit it's like a cross between Blades of Steel and that old Nintendo hockey, because you got the little fat-headed guys and little skinny guys.
This is on Xbox.
Yeah, it's on Xbox. Yeah, it was on the Switch for the longest time. It's finally on the Xbox and the PlayStation right now in the indies, and it's just like the old school hockey. You pick the teams, and it's got this fucking management mode in it. It's hilarious. You got to get the guys. Like if you go into the like a manager, like unlike other games, it's all statistics. This one's like you hire these players and you got to fit them in under a budget. So that means you just can't go out and get all the best players. You got to have a mix and mash. And then you actually got to send them to the gym. You got to make sure that they're eating. You got to make sure that some guys aren't eating too much or they get fucking fat. You got to send guys to the gym to bring up their stamina. So there's all these like little and it's hilarious. You watch the guys go into the shower and they got the little pixels over the butt and everything in their shower, and all this stuff is fucking weird, man. But it's a lot of fun, actually. It's pretty good. Yeah. And Atrocity Knights in the chat dropping an amazing $30 super chat. He says, a little something to show my support. Great show, guys. A little something, dude. That's a huge donation. And thank you so much for supporting us. That is awesome. To everybody that drops super chats, or everybody just shows up in the chat, whether you dropping 25 cents or nothing at all, we appreciate you being here, guys. We really do. We say that, but we honestly mean it. You guys are the lifeblood of this podcast. So thank you so much for being here, guys. Thanks for that, Atrocity. Really appreciate it, brother. Anybody else want to weigh in? All good? Move on to the next one?
Move on.
All right. It's the last year for Xbox Live Gold free games, according to Iceman. He is probably right. I mean, eventually they're going to start running out of ideas anyway. It's like, what didn't we give them? And what can we give them that we just haven't put in Game Pass yet? That's pretty much what it comes down to. How about the whole Craig meme, guys, that's going around, and the fact that at least 343 has stepped up and acknowledged it, that they got some work to do, that yes, the build was a bit early. They're quite aware. Phil Spencer is quite aware. Even Phil kind of made fun of it and said, Craig has took off to be this fantastic meme. We've seen him fucking everywhere. I know Axel's definitely going to weigh in on. I'm going to find out what Titan feels. So what's your take on the whole Craig meme out of this Halo? This should have been a showcase game that we're bragging about, and now it's sort of turned into a bit of a running joke, which is really sad for the flagship title of the Series X. I know Halo Infinite, guys, honestly, have faith. I'm pretty sure it's still going to turn out to be a fantastic Halo game, and I'd be willing to put money that it's going to be better than Halo 5. Now, graphically, how it turns out, I don't fucking know. But at the end of the day, graphics aren't the be-all, end-all. It's going to come down to the story and the gameplay. I like what I saw from that. But what do you think about Craig Titan? Where do you stand on that, man? And the fact that Microsoft and 343 at least fessed up and owned it, there's a few issues, but we're going to fix them.
Yeah, bravo for that. Like, I don't care about that. I really don't. Right? Like, I can't get over the fact that it's 500 million for this. I can't get over the. We didn't have a show last week, and I was really chomping at the bit because the Halo. I gave the Xbox show, a great score, like a 93. I think I gave it, but I took 4% of that away for Halo. A lot of it was from Halo. They failed in multiple ways to impress me. Like the slip space engine. What the hell is the point of it? What in-game advantages? Why not just go with Unreal 5 engine? I don't get it. Like, you're telling me this game can't run on Unreal 5? This engine. This is the one thing, like, we're going to get some more damn thumbs because I got some negative things to say about Xbox for a change.
Yeah.
Watch that down thumbs ticker. We're watching, people. Right.
Yeah. Well,
so you got something to say?
Well, I've heard a lot of people bring up the art style. Well, it's an art style, and Halo was never realistic. No, not realistic, realistic. But
I got problems with that too.
Look at remember the movies that came out? Remember the Halo movies and shit? Do you guys do you remember that? Even that one that was called Fall of Reach, it was like a CGI animated Halo.
Yep, on the Halo channel. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That looked a hell of a lot better than this game, and that still had an art style. Am I correct? It was still Halo.
Yes.
Right? The face
every game's got an art style, right?
Very distinct. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But you look at the detail level in that, and then you look at this game and you're like, with the Xbox Series X, shouldn't we be hitting sort of in that ballpark now at this point in time? Why does this still look more like a game and less like a fucking CGI movie? Because honestly, Halo could legitimately look like a CGI movie at this point. Like, you've seen it. Well, look. Okay, put it this way. Remember the recently remade cutscenes of Halo 2 on the Master Chief Collection?
Yeah.
Go and watch that shit and tell me that fucking don't look amazing. So how come the Xbox Series X Halo Infinite doesn't look anywhere close to that CGI shit? Yeah, I know it's CGI, but we're on a console now that they've said years ago basically was able to push almost this level of performance, and I don't see it here. I know the game is huge and there's a lot of factors to take in play, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what Xbox fans expect now for their next $500 or $600 investment, as we want to see that kind of level of fidelity, not games that look flat or very colorful and cartoonish. We want to see fucking shit that's starting to look like, man, I just came off the movie screen. That brute, that fucking thing just popped out of the commercial. You know what I mean? Like, if you watch look at the CGI on the fucking brute when he did that car sales commercial. Remember when he beats up the guy's car? He used to do the car salesman?
That was actually a robotic puppet.
Was that a robotic puppet?
Yeah.
Okay.
No CGI.
Well, okay. Well, that's fucking impressive too. But this is what I'm saying. We want that sort of level of detail where it's believable, where it doesn't look like a game per se. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's all comes down to lighting, and it comes down to texture detail. That's the biggest thing, right? Lighting and texture details, and if you don't nail it, it don't look good.
And the good thing about that is that part can improve. I can see improve. Like Colt Eastwood did a really good made a really good video about that. If you haven't seen it, I'd check that out. Look for his Halo video about that. But still, a lot of people are saying, it's an old build. Well, guess what? This ain't that old of a build. Okay.
Right.
Like, the game, is it going to look better when it comes out? Absolutely. Is it going to look pristine or like I think it should. No way. Like, I blame a lot of this on the community and 343 for listening to them, because if you're a dev, you got to throw away 97% of the crap fans ask for, because they don't know what they're talking about. They're not devs themselves. People have I've heard it time and time again. I want that old Halo feel, right? Well, how the hell do you think they're going to give that to you? It's in the graphics. It's in what you're looking at 100% of the time. And that's why it looks like this, because they're giving you the old Halo feel. They're giving you, you basically gave them a reason to cut back on the graphics. They could have pushed this game so far and made this look so good. And I really blame it on a lot of the fans for saying that.
Well, I think they spent half the budget basically hiring the people that got fired from fucking from BioWare when they made the googly-eyed version of fucking Mass Effect Andromeda. I think they went and made Halo instead. The only reason Master Chief don't have googly eyes is because he got a visor on.
And Spider-Man said blame the virus too. Yeah, he's right. He's right. That cannot be helping the situation. It can't be. So he's right about that.
Character models were done a long time ago before the virus finished. Yeah. This game has just been set pieces now and optimizations, but character models were probably done a long time ago.
Right.
And here's I still think they can improve upon it by the time the game releases, but here's the thing. The biggest joke of this gameplay showing, which gameplay in and of itself is kind of like a separate topic, because I think that's a ticky-tack thing. Sure. But I'll get into that later, maybe, if we got time. But during the gameplay showcase, do you remember the part where he goes up the elevator and the music kicks in? It's like, and it's like, all that you're doing is looking at the vista, and it's blatantly obvious they're trying to show the vista off, and they're trying to show what the engine can do. And you see all these clouds popping in out of nowhere. Like, that's a terrible fail, man, in my opinion. Like, maybe you don't think so, but and it could be fixed.
There was almost as much pop in as an adolescent 13-year-old face. So
I mean, it's all over the place. It's like, man, if you missed it, look at it again. But I will give it to this. I will say this: if you rewatch that, because I watched this over and over and over again, I enjoyed the show that much that I watched it over and over, and I also watched the 4K version. And this game in 4K looks way better.
The 4K shortened up version, it was more like a trailer. That looked a lot better.
It looks way better. So like that's, they if they fix all these, little things here and the pop in and like that's what the really pissed off thing I'm about is, and I really hope that the Xbox, the velocity architecture, because this was not running on an Xbox Series X. So if they take advantage of that velocity architecture, maybe that will get rid of all this nasty popping, and because it's everywhere. It's unmistakable. So
Axel, how about you, man? How do you feel about old Craig over there, man? Is he your new poster child or what?
Guys, when I watched that trailer, and I watched it many times, and I watch it almost daily still.
Yep.
They caught that.
It was a good show, right?
It was good. I watched that show front to back many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, they caught that one frame where this guy was in. Out of 60 frames a second, they caught that one frame.
Some nerd out there, some PlayStation fanboys. What's the worst frame
they had
I can find?
They had it up on their super powered PC, and they had that shit slowed down like 10 times.
I'm zooming in 1,000 times. God, these nerds, man. Ugh.
Brought to you by Digital Foundry.
Same kind of dude to be looking for naked women in space, you know what I mean, on the fucking moon. Got his fucking telescope out. I'm sure there's a naked chick up there somewhere. Men went to the moon. Maybe there's a naked girl up there.
They found that one frame where this guy was in, and I gotta tell you, I don't like the way the brutes look right now. I like the Halo 2, Halo 3 brutes where the nose was more up, closer to their eyebrows. They had that more apish look. Even in Atriox in Halo Wars 2 looked better. And then you look at this guy and this Thanos looking brute. And I'm just no, that they missed it. They completely missed it with this guy.
Totally.
Yeah.
And
it's like everything they tried to showcase, they dropped the ball on, right?
Right. And then Echiram, I believe is his name, the new bad guy.
Yeah.
When I was watching this live, I was like, is this guy like a piece of clay? What's going on here?
Yeah, he looked like molding clay, right? And his teeth didn't even look real. They kind of looked like plastic, shiny teeth. Like, it was weird.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm just thinking this guy's old, and man, he has the best dental plan I've ever seen in my life. I mean, this guy, he didn't look imposing to me. Because the textures just weren't there. Yeah. You know, if you look at the Halo 2 Chieftain, especially on that Halo 2 anniversary, the Halo 2 Chieftain just looks more chief than this guy does. Now, I've seen another picture that's allegedly a leak of what Echiram is supposed to look like, and he has more cybernetics on his body and whatnot. Mm-hmm. It definitely does look more imposing once they dress him up, but what they showed on the showcase of him, I was like, okay, no, the guy can give a good speech, but he doesn't look imposing. I don't want to fight him. Where's Atriox? You know, because he just doesn't look like it. I'm just saying how it is. And then the art style. Oh my god, the art style. Oh my god, the Halo community. I hate them all so much. Yeah. They can't let go of Halo 1, 2, and 3.
Well, I mean, me personally, like, I love the way Master Chief looks. I have no qualms with its gear or any of that stuff. I found like the guns itself should have looked a little bit more metallic, like look more like guns as opposed, because you kind of like, if you look at the Halo, like we were just when we did that fucking community game night, we were playing Halo 5. Like, to me, the guns looked a lot more impressive in Halo 5, and that's my whole point, is that Halo 5 is an older game now, and it shouldn't look better than Halo Infinite, right? And that's the way I looked at it. I was like, man, this shit looks better. Halo 5 looked better, you know?
Yeah, so the idea behind the art was that the guns are to be cleaner. They're not supposed to be so busy with all this accessories on them, if you will.
Right.
But, okay, so they're not supposed to look busy, but they still should look...
Well, they look realistic, like it's a real metal weapon.
Guns. Yeah. Just pointing that out there.
Kind of starting to remind me of fucking Overwatch guns there, you know?
Yeah, and but all that aside, the gameplay looked amazing. I thought the audio was amazing too. People are complaining like, oh, the shotgun doesn't sound imposing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, have you ever heard a real shotgun? Because they're not as loud as the Halo 1, 2, and 3 shotguns are. I mean, not like that. And so to me, the bullet sounds are more realistic. And once again, this is coming from an Army guy that has fired pretty much every gun under the sun. And so to me, they just sound more realistic. I like the Warthog, how it sounds, more throaty than the previous Warthogs. I definitely love the way the Chief looks. I'll tell you this. As far as the Chief looks, that's what I expected. Because in Halo, before I got really deep into the Halo lore, I didn't know that the rubber part, that the black part of the armor was an undersuit that they wore. Even all the way through Halo 4 until way later that I found out that that was part of the undersuit. I'm like, oh, I thought that was just flexible part of the outside armor. Right. And it turns out I was wrong. But in this Halo, they made it so distinct with its own little sub armor pieces to it that you definitely cannot mistake it. It's definitely an undersuit, and I love that about it.
Yeah, totally.
And and then they had the Become trailer right before the Halo Infinite gameplay trailer. Mm-hmm. Man, that trailer looked amazing.
Well, yeah, that part. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So that's what I thought was going to be Halo
armor. When you see the Magellan armor coming up in the hand, you're kind of like, ooh, and then all of a sudden it goes to cutscene. I thought everything was looking great until the moment, he gets out of the fucking Warthog, and then you're like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was expecting. I was like, all right, this is what it's going to look like. It's all going to look like this. It's coming together. And then here it looks, and I'm like, that doesn't. I go, okay, well, the gameplay looks fire, but the art looks like it needs work, a lot of work. And I'm a Colorado State alumni, and Bonnie Ross is also a Colorado State alumni. I hate to say this, but Bonnie, get your show together, man, over there. Mm-hmm. Put him to work. Yeah. I know. Yeah.
So I
So
guess there's only they can only improve from here on out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with you guys. The whole working from home has got to be the most difficult thing any studio, and not just 343, but the bigger the magnitude and scope of a game, the harder it's got to be for these teams to keep things on track and together. And, it's got to be a lot more work and a lot of craziness and a lot of miscommunications. And maybe, and fuck, even just people. We also know that, when people work from home, sometimes that their best efforts aren't always put forward. Maybe they're sleeping in at 12 o'clock, getting up, and I don't have a boss here fucking cracking the whip, so I could kind of, go out for a 30 minutes fucking smoke break, that sort of shit. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We always think that we have a good idea of what happens at a developer and how their time is properly used. And you hear this all the time. How many games have we heard over the last few years? It took 5 or 6 years to make, but if you actually looked at the timelines and the stuff that people have said, it's kind of, it took 5 years to make, but they probably built about 70% of the game in the last 2.5. So what the fuck were you doing in the first 3 years, right? You know what I mean? It's kind of like I always said. It's kind of like kids going to school. Like, you remember when you went to school, and Titan knows as a teacher, there's always fucking half of the class that never gets their shit done till the last fucking minute, right? So, right, it's true, right? It doesn't matter. They know there's a deadline,
if at all, man. If at all,
and it's like that in our workplaces too. There's people have deadlines, but they don't do most of the work until it's like push comes to shove. And we all know that when you're rushed, no matter how talented you are, when you're rushed and you're stressed, shit doesn't come out right. Okay. And that goes for students. It goes for workplaces, same thing. And I don't differentiate studios from any other regular job. They get up at a certain time. They start the clock, they end the clock. They're tired. They're stressed. They're learning new tech. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's got to be amazing, especially, like I said, if you're a studio, and the bigger your studio means there's probably a lot more chances that everything is not coming together properly. You got the tech side, you got the fucking creative side, you got the sound department, you got the story writers, and all this got to come together in one congruent piece. And if you want to see a great inside story, look at that Cory Barlog fucking documentary. What's it? Becoming Kratos? That was a fantastic look at the amount of fucking shit that goes through a studio in the run of a day. And you can understand when the Cory in that game, God of War, scored so high, and you see the video of him breaking down and crying, you fucking kind of feel, I know why. Like, because he's fucking relieved more than anything. Because you put so much work, 5 years of your fucking life into one project, and you don't know if it's going to be trash or it's going to be amazing, and all these pieces got to come together. And this is the same thing with Halo. And I've said, and we all know, there's no more pressure on any Halo game bigger right now than there's ever been for Halo 5 to deliver in spades. When someone asked me the other day on Twitter, like, what do you think the Metacritic score is going to be? And I said 84. You know why I said 84? Because I don't think no matter how good this Halo actually turns out to be, whether it's graphic, sound, gameplay, I'm expecting the fucking right now. I guess that's because I'm an Xbox fan and I'm skeptical, but I'm already waiting for the critics to fucking take this Halo to school and fucking trash it. They're going to find every reason in the world to bring this fucking game down because it's on Xbox and it's an Xbox exclusive, and that's that. So that's why I said 84. Personally, I think it's going to be a phenomenal game. I thought fucking Gears 5 was amazing, and that shit only got 84. I'm like, how the fuck is that possible? 84 for Gears 5. That shit was way better than 4. And 84. I mean, Metacritic is not the be all end all, but it's the perception of how the games play out with people when they are, right? Every time an Xbox game that scores anywhere under 90, guess what? You might as well call it mediocre and trash and throw it in the garbage, because that's the perception that a lot of people will say. 84 for Gears, that game was fucking garbage. When the fuck is 84 a garbage score? That's an amazing score. Back in the day, you'd be thrilled. Now, 84, that's all Xbox got is mediocre trash, right? Like, I'm so sick of that fucking narrative. It's bullshit, but I'm pretty, like, I'm telling you now, Halo Infinite, they can promise the world and deliver here. This game is still going to get fucking torched by half the community. I'm telling you right now.
And I'm telling you, and 84, that's on the high side. I'm thinking like 81. Barely meeting the 80. Like, because like Xbox, it's crazy. PlayStation gets all it's like it's just what people see, the graphics. If it's got good graphics, it seems like it's like at least an 80. right?
Yeah.
Like, seems like that's where the baseline starts. If it's got good graphics, if it doesn't have good graphics, like it starts around an 85 and it can only go down from there, right?
Yeah, the only PlayStation games that seem to score less than a 90 are games that, they like, it looks like a Days Gone, right? I love Days Gone. I thought it was a great game, and I thought it deserved a better score than it got. But the only PlayStation games that really seem to get the lower scores are games that have enough issues they can't ignore, right?
Yeah.
They can't tiptoe around it because the game feels broken or there's a lot of issues. And then when they can't tiptoe around it, and especially if it's a game coming out by not one of their marquee studios, like, I'm sorry, but Sony Bend Studio is not revered in the same way that fucking Naughty Dog is, right? Even though, to be honest with you, Days Gone gameplay wise, Days Gone is probably as good, if not better, than any Naughty Dog game. I'm coming out there and saying it. But it's because it was an open world game and it had a lot of flaws and it had some pacing issues. They were too obvious to ignore, so the game didn't score as well as it should have, right? So,
well, Spider-Man brings up a good point in the chat, and you may disagree with me on this, and probably a lot of people might, but I've always had this thing with the media bias, right? And if you don't think game reviewers are part of the of this bias, and I think you're wrong. Like, all right, he said Forza Horizon 4 got a 92. All right, but Forza was a fantastic racing game. If that was on PlayStation, it probably would have got at least a 95. Like, and Ori got a 90. All right, if it was on PlayStation, like you may think I'm wrong, but I swear to you, and wasn't there an article about recently there? I know there was about PlayStation kind of pandering to their to these review outlets and stuff, and didn't they attack like someone or something about giving their or they didn't show a negative review on their game, something like that. I don't remember.
Reached out to someone via email that gave less than 90 or something like that.
Yes, exactly. So like you never hear Xbox doing stuff like this. This is shady business. It really is, and I really feel like PlayStation does too much of that.
And I find that the game, like Ori had some good scores. Forza, yes, there are, but I find the games that are getting the great scores for Xbox are the games that have less hype behind them. They're the games that are kind of like people like them. Like Ori's fantastic, and I haven't heard anybody that played Ori that hasn't really liked it. But it's you look at Ori. It came out, it comes as quick as it comes out, and everybody's can't wait to play Ori. Like fucking 4 days later, everybody's moved on and done. It's gone. Nobody's talking about Ori, no matter how fantastic. You see what I'm saying? But Gears, they're still talking about Gears 5 today, right? Fucking game came out last year, and there's still people bitching and whining and taking that fucking shit to town, because when you associate Xbox, you're associating with Halo and Gears more than any other franchise. That's their flagships. And really, when it's Forza, I still associate with the original Forza, not Forza Horizon. Forza Horizon carved a very good niche, but like, it's not a flagship per se game. Like, when people think of Xbox, that's not the first game you go, yeah, it's the Horizon series, man. You know what I mean? It's they're ready to hate on Chief and fucking what's his name. And you see those articles that come out where it's like, remember years ago, a couple years back, when Sony had a really weak E3 and they had very little games, and somebody wrote that article like, why Sony's lack of games was a smart thing or something?
Yeah.
Like,
God, they've done that like 5
article is that? How the fuck is not having games the smart decision? Like, what? That's one of the biggest offenders of there's a fucking bias for you. When you're obviously taking something that any other game would chew you out for, and you're trying to make it a positive, like, we have no games, but that's a great thing. There's a strategy, bravo. Like, what the fuck is that?
There's way too much
between
of that.
you and me. I don't think an Xbox first party game is ever going to score over a 90. Because of the media bias. Some reviewer somewhere is going to give it a 30 out of 100 or whatever. And
somewhere probably a good 30% of them.
Yeah, it's all the same idiots now too, like within the community. Remember Hellblade came out, scored really well. It was like a fucking PlayStation exclusive for like the longest time, and everybody loved it and said Ninja Theory was fucking amazing, and how all of a sudden this small fucking studio made this incredible game and it was amazing. And I heard so many people brag and say, you fucking Xbox guys can't play it. You're still just fucking jealous. So it comes out on Xbox, right? Still fucking amazing. And then all of a sudden Ninja Theory gets bought up by Xbox. And guess what? Guess what we've seen now? Oh, Ninja Theory's fucking no good. They haven't made a good game in years. Hellblade's not all that. It's, and you get tired of that fucking thing changing. Like, why can't you just admit it? They're a fucking fantastic studio, and you're bitter because Xbox has them. You fucking know damn well that if Halo or Hellblade 2 comes out on PlayStation, you buy it in a heartbeat. So don't be bullshitting people.
This is a problem with me, and let me know in the chat if it's a problem with you too. See me say 1 for yes, 2 for no, whatever. Like these people say so much negative about Xbox, and my problem is they just can't give credit where credit is due. That it makes you want to dislike them, or hate them, get mad at them. Like, why can't you give credit where it's due? Xbox is doing all these positive things, and you're reaching so hard to find something negative that they look absolutely ridiculous. All kinds of people are doing it right now. And it's a lot of these big channels, and they look so stupid time and time and time again. Yeah. They've been proven wrong and wrong and wrong. It's like, how do these people even have followers?
Exactly.
Right?
It's
amazing. It is. I mean, nothing's ever going to change either, but and I'm sure the three of us on this panel, me and Titan in particular, there's lots of people out there that can't stand our guts either and think we're just big old corporate slaves and Xbox Phil Spencer dick suckers and all that shit. We make no joke. We like Xbox, but we're not PlayStation haters. If anybody knows me, I've always said, go back through my timeline, go back and check out my videos. You'll know that I got a PlayStation. I got the games. I got trophies to prove that I play them, et cetera, et cetera. I do love PlayStation. There's a reason I have one, because they have some fucking amazing games that I just don't want to be without. The platform itself, I don't like it as much. I like the Xbox controller better. I like Xbox Live better. I have a lot more invested in Xbox over the past over 10 years, since the original Xbox, you know what I mean? So that's why I like when I'm critical of Xbox, a lot of people take it as I'm just bashing. Like some people, I don't know, if a couple weeks ago after the Xbox show, like I lost a lot of followers because I called out a few things, right? And I had a few people, and it's interesting, I had a few people kind of add me after, because after they watched Boom's video and they actually listened to what I had to say carefully, and then they realized that I gave the show, I think I gave it like an 83, 84. It said it was fucking solid. It just didn't deliver on some points I'd hoped for, but it was quick to jump on me as I'm part of the Xbox hate bandwagon now, right? Because I've been associated in the past with people that have sort of taken that narrative. And I said, no, I'm critical because I love Xbox. I'm not critical because I hate them. I'm critical because I love them. I just want them to do better. And the thing is, for me, I'm in a different scenario than a lot of Xbox fans, because a lot of you guys really do love Game Pass. A lot of you guys do love the direction they're going. So it's easier for you to kind of to make your points. And, I'm an old school guy. So I'm an old school guy. I love the old way that Xbox did business. And I know they don't do it anymore, but can you blame me because I'm disappointed because they went a different direction than I would like them to? Obviously, the community has spoken. You guys love digital. You love Game Pass. You love what they're doing with the consoles. I do not. So, but am I wrong because I still want to buy a physical console with a disc drive because I want to play and buy my games the way I always did? Does that make me wrong? I don't think so. It makes me maybe old and fossilized. I get it. But I don't think I'm necessarily wrong. I'm just old school. I don't like change. And when it's my favorite company that's pushing it harder than anybody else, and I see the opposite company doing things that I still like and going with the messaging that I like I like fucking the fact that Sony has the exclusive shit, I don't like some of the dirty stuff, but I still like the fact that they're pushing the stuff that they're pushing is not to sell the service. They're pushing stuff to sell their consoles, because in turn, the console sales will end up pushing the games. Do you know what I mean? Xbox used to do that. The reason Xbox changed, and it's not a fact, but it's my opinion. Xbox changed because they were getting their fucking ass kicked, and they knew in order to continue, they had to do something different. When Satya Nadella gave the keys over to Phil, I'm pretty sure that's what he told him. It's your ball game now. You do what you like with this thing, right? But we are a dying platform, and you have to figure out ways, because we can't sell consoles like Sony does, and we certainly can't sell them overseas. We've tried. We've advertised with people. We've bought Japanese developer guys. We've brought in famous developers to make games. Like, look at all the 360. Remember all the development for 360, like Lost Odyssey and all those amazing Japanese RPGs, because that's what people wanted. Recore. Yeah, they got all of this stuff. Yeah, they got all of this stuff, and it didn't make not a dent. It changed nothing for Xbox landscape. So, in order to continue, they looked at it and said, we cannot continue to survive burning our money in hardware that just doesn't sell. Right? It sells in America. It sells to the hardcore guys that like the power. They like fucking bells and whistles. But it just overall, it doesn't bring enough people in. And we can't compete toe-to-toe with Sony on that platform. We do it differently. So we're going to give you as many games as we can in as many platforms as we can so you can get in our ecosystem and you can spend your money with us. And we're going to kill Sony financially. We're killing it. We're making billions. They're not making anywhere close. But they're happy with the way their business model works because it works for them. But that's the difference between Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. Is Xbox had to change their model. I think they were forced more than that was the way they wanted to go. This is the way they have to go. That's the difference. And that's all. I'm kind of way off topic here, but I'm just saying that's what I feel about it. So I'm a little more critical just because I want them to still cater to me. Like I feel like I'm a part of that ecosystem that they just don't give a shit about anymore. Like I don't give a fuck if you buy another physical game, because we're on Game Pass. If you don't like it, stick a stick up your ass and gyrate, like
no. And out of all the reasons to unfollow someone, get your feelings hurt because the the industry isn't going the way you want it to. Like, all right, that's one opinion out of how many 1,000 that you have, right? Upon the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Like, man, like where, like, so people unfollow you for that one reason, but people aren't following, aren't unfollowing, like say MBG, whose last 20, estimations have been wrong as hell. Like, right?
Well,
what are people following? What are you just want to be told these things to make you feel better, even though it's wrong as hell? Like, I don't get it.
I just got to address Loonsmile in the chat because he's with me. He says, he buys his game physically. He says there's still so many places to buy physical games. And yeah, you're right for now. But Loon, like, man, look, in the last 2 years alone, Loon, I've seen a drastic change. I've walked into my EB games and seen their shelves go from fucking, 80 to 90% games to basically now they're about 30% of the store is games and the rest is either toys or fucking merchandise or game cards. I've watched the Microsoft store last year. I went in before Christmas to buy a fucking game. The Microsoft store with Xbox, and they didn't have a physical game left in the whole fucking store. It was all cards. And I said, well, that's a big fucking slap in the face to me now, isn't it? Maybe you look at that differently. To me, that was a slap. My favorite store, my favorite product, and you aren't even giving me the option now. You didn't just decrease your shelf space. You fucking obliterated and said, if you're not with the fucking digital Noof Nukem, kiss my ass and get the fuck. That's what they told me. That was what I was told without them telling me to my face. And that pissed me the fuck off last year. I was like, well, fuck you, Xbox. Fuck you. I'm not buying into your shit. I just don't want it. I'll buy the games I want. I don't care if I'm spending $70 a game. If I got the money to buy my $70 games, I will fucking buy it. I got no kids. I got no one I have to share with. I want them for myself. That's it.
And people need to be able to
keep that option. Then I walk into my Walmarts and guess what I'm seeing? PlayStation shelf is almost 3 times longer. There's way more options for me to buy a PlayStation 4 version of a certain game. Last year, I couldn't find that fucking game, A Plague's Tale, anywhere. Fucking every place I went, no Xbox copy. You know what? Now I'm thinking to myself, it can't be because there's more Xbox copies selling than the PlayStation 4 one. No, it's because they're getting 20 copies of that game in for PlayStation 4, and they're getting 5 copies in for Xbox. That's what's happening. You know why? Because the stores are going, why the fuck are we selling so many physical copies of Xbox games? Because we can't, because we don't need to, because people are buying the Game Pass, right? So that screwed me over. I'm like, now I'm getting fucking double dosed. I can't even walk in the store and get that now because the other option on Xbox is now meaning retailers are carrying less games in their shelf because most people just don't buy the physical copy. So I know I'm in a very small minority here, and I'm on a fucking rant and tangent. But I'm just saying, everybody says options are good, but every time I turn around, I always have one less option and one less option and one less option, and I have no option. Lots of options for guys that want digital. You got the sales, you got the game fucking marketplace, your Game Pass, like blah 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 blah. But I got nothing.
And then coronavirus came and made it even worse.
I'm telling you. So, but I go PlayStation. I can find that game for play, but I don't want it on the fucking PlayStation. This is what I'm telling you. I don't want the PlayStation version. And when I walk into the EB games and that fucking guy's at the till, and I'm like, Can you have this game for Xbox? And he goes, no, but we have it here for PlayStation. Would you like the PlayStation copy? Or sometimes I bring the game up to the till. I've done this in the past. You bring the Xbox one up to the till, and the guy goes, you sure you don't want that on PlayStation? And I'm just like, I would have brought it up to the till with PlayStation on it, wouldn't I? You dumb fuck. You know, like, and that sometimes I could reach across the counter with these guys at the fucking EB Games and GameStop. So I want to fucking take them outside and beat the living shit out of them. Like, you know what? I'm gonna beat some Xbox sense upside your head, man. Like, seriously. Like, fuck off. You know.
Yeah,
but anyway,
my thing is, you gotta allow people to vent, right? You gotta allow Noof to vent this out because you know people have feelings, so let them vent, right?
My feelings are hurt right now.
When I play to win, right? And I play with all my heart, and you know, like just me talking, you can feel my energy, right? Well, imagine me playing games with you, right? Like I want to win. I try to play to win the game, right? You play to win, right? So like for everyone that has played Call of Duty with me, like I yell, right? And I'll yell at you, and I'll be like, Axel, why aren't you doing your job, Axel? You're supposed to watch that way. Why did you not watch that? You know, and it's not that bad, but you know, but I do yell, and you know, it's the shout out to my buddy Whiskey Mike because he's played with me for so long, and it's a shame that like the people that don't play with me, it's just a way of venting. I'm not attacking you in any way. Noof's not attacking people or Xbox in any way. He's venting, right? Like, and people have a right to do that. That's all I'm saying.
People don't know the difference, though. They think it's just me. Like, I love Xbox, man. I've spent so much money on Xbox stuff. It's not even funny. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm proud of my collection. That's what I'm saying. I'm proud of the Xbox. I love the ecosystem. People say, well, why do you prefer that Xbox, Noof? Because I love Gears of War and I love Halo. They're two of my favorite franchises of all time. Like, as good as God of War and some of these games are, I would never take God of War over any of my Gears of War games, period. I love Gears better than God of War. I love them both, but I'm a Gears head. I love that franchise. That's my shit. That's why I love Xbox. You know, I went out and got rid of my fucking Scorpio for the fucking Gears 5 special edition, you know? So
I was so close to doing that too, but I held on to my Scorpio.
Just because Gears is in my heart, and that's the coolest effing custom console I've ever seen that was built by like a company. That shit's a real fucking limited edition, not the red sticker Spider-Man one I bought for PlayStation 4. You know, come on now. But anyway, I went on a fucking ass rant. We're going to change the topic here. We got HR Bomber in the chat. We got Crazy Greek Dude and Xbox 448. Hey, we got Better Toads. I don't do it like Xbox, but he must be getting excited. That shit's almost out now. So good stuff. Let's talk about quickly. This one won't beat to death, but I do want to get your take on this. We're going to turn topics down from gaming to movies. Interesting article came down. I was reading it. Apparently, there's been a deal, I think, between AMC, which is American movie company, I think it is, and NBC Universal and things. Where basically now they're going to loosen the ties. So if you're familiar with movies, guys, and going to theaters, you typically know that a movie has to be they have mandates. The movie will come out in a theater and it typically has to be there about 3 months, or it has to leave the theater before it can actually come out on a video on demand or on a physical medium. So now they're shortening that to 17 days, which is fucking huge because that's just over 2 weeks. And basically then, hey, you can go buy the DVD, Blu-ray copy, get it video on demand. I think that's huge. And I think that was obviously spurred by the whole COVID environment and how theaters are suffering heavily with massive losses and not getting movies out. So I think that's huge news, something we should take in. So how do you guys feel about that? And do you think it's just going to have a positive impact on theaters or perhaps a negative one? Because people might be like less reluctant to go to a theater knowing that, hey, that movie's like, well, I don't need to go see it now. I could just get it on video on demand in a couple weeks. How do you feel about it, Axel?
Oh man, I love going to the movies. If I'm being honest, I love the movies. I love the drive-in movies. I love the theater movies. Yep. I love the going to the planetarium to see movies. It's just an experience, right? And you know, since this whole pandemic started, I haven't been to the movies. I refuse because Lord knows I'm not going to get sick. Screw that, you know. I'm avoiding everybody. So I think they had no choice, you know, until there's an effective vaccine. that's widely used, and this is basically gone the way of polio. You know, they had no choice. They had to do something. These movie production companies definitely wanted to work something out, and NBC and AMC definitely worked out a deal. Now, I don't know how AMC benefits from this, to be honest. I really have no idea. But once the pandemic is over, I'm going to go back to the movies if they're still around, if they even live that long. I mean, they've probably suffered so many heavy losses already that they might not even be around.
Can you imagine, like, that we're almost to the end of the summer? We've had like no major releases. That's unheard of. It's crazy.
I know. Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah. Wonder Woman, was it the Scarlet one, or what's her name from the Avengers? But Scarlett Johansson, the Black Widow. She was supposed to have a movie. The Top Gun was supposed to be out. It was supposed to be. Jesus, there's a shitload of movies that have been basically canceled or pushed pretty much well into next year. So it's insane.
Yeah, so it is what it is. But I guess the best part of watching movies at home is, hey, if I feel like getting frisky with my wife, I can without shame. Don't have to hide it no more.
I was gonna say, on that related note, I haven't made. The last time I made love to my wife, I had to use a glory hole. Practice safe sex. Use a board, people. Cut a hole and lose control. It's one. Titan, how do you feel about it, brother? You still there? Titan. He might have stepped up for a second, or he muted his mic, possibly. I'll just try. Like I said, I think it is. I think it's good overall that we're going to be able to experience a lot of movies in a faster time frame, and that's fantastic, especially if you happen to be in that minority that's okay with watching things at home. I mean, obviously you don't get that theater experience. And I'm with you, Axel. Like, I like going to the theater. I like having the popcorn, sitting down, in these comfy seats with the giant screen and all that stuff. But I think it kind of sucks. It's a sign of the times. I don't think it's going to last forever. Like, that's the thing. Like, will this change the landscape of the movie industry, or potentially, is it going to revert? Is this just kind of a temporary fix? And then how will it impact ticket sales moving forward? Because we are starting to see things open up a little bit. They're doing their due diligence, and they're spacing seats, and they're cleaning everything down. But it's not the same. And we've already, like I said, like, they got to get the bottom line is they got to get the production on movies has to continue, and then they got to start getting them back in theaters. And everybody's reluctant to put them in theaters if your capacity to show a film is only like half of what you have. That's going to be really restrictive. Like, 200 and 300 seats movie theaters, having like 100 at best, and that's if the movie's selling out kind of deal. So
and I mean, movie theaters never made money off of actually showing the movies. They always made their money off of concessions.
Yeah, well, that's going to take a dip too, right? And if you only got half the capacity, right? So our price is going to go up. Like, how is this going to be? And Titan, how do you feel about it, man? Like, is it going to change the landscape of movies? Is it good for the customer, or is it terrible for the movie industry?
Well, I just got back taking a piss. I have no idea what you guys just said.
Just wing it, Titan. Just wing it. 1, 2, 3, go.
All right. So movies going online and such. So, is this the end all be all? No, because will there be a vaccine for this virus? Yes. Right. And it is probably going to come at the end of this year. So this is a temporary thing, I think. I don't think it is what it is, right? It's a temporary fix. It's a Band-Aid. Is it gonna make up for everything they've lost? No, but is it gonna help? Yeah. So I mean, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do in the hard times, right?
Yeah.
And this is what we're seeing right now. That's my opinion on the whole thing.
Some of the big movies, I still prefer to go to the theater. Like, there's a lot of movies that come out and I just go, you know what, I'll wait for the Blu-ray release and I'll pick it up then, see if I like it. You know what I mean? Because you go to a movie, like I said, it costs more to go in, and you got to buy the food. So you're generally looking up here in Canada, like an average movie is going to cost you, especially if you're taking the wife or something, like you're looking at an easy $50 bill, right? By the time you get your food and shit, it's not far off. So, it's a pretty big investment, especially if you go a lot, that sort of thing. So I think this is kind of huge in a way, and it's I think both sides stand to lose too much money by not having movies, period. And I think it's good for both. I think people that really want to go see a movie in the theater will do it. I think it's also good for people that might be on the fence. They can stay at home. They can watch it in a VOD format, 17 days after release, which is cool. And maybe invest in another movie. You know what I mean? So maybe people will actually see more movies because of this. The movies come out quicker. You're not waiting so much. You can access them at home. And if you still want to go to the theater and be into that first group to come and see it and brag about it.
Well, Noof, let me ask you this real quick. So since you're all gung-ho physical copies, are you gung-ho actually going to the movie theater?
I am gung-ho. That's going to be my new nickname, Mr. Gung-ho. Yes, not bunghole, gung-ho.
What's sad about all this is I had an AMC Movie Pass subscription. It's where you paid a monthly fee and you could watch one movie a week. On the Movie Pass, and as soon as this hit, I canceled that. I was like, nope, not no more. And it was a good deal. So yeah, I mean, AMC's suffering big time because of this.
My thing is why? How is AMC absolutely necessary at this point, right? Man, these movie companies must have been making a ton of money off of them, right? Like they're charging them out of the boat, because like you said, they make most of their money off the concessions. They charge, $8 for a pack of nerds or whatever it is. Right? I mean, it's crazy. So to me, it doesn't really hurt my feelings that I don't have to, go out to the movie theater where 1,000 people I don't know have snotted all over the chairs that I'm about to sit in, and food all over the ground and pop spilled everywhere, and then you got people talking everywhere, and you got people I don't like sitting next to me, or it could be a million different things.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, seriously, it's crazy, Titan. Because honestly, I walked into the movie theater the other day, and I paid $5 for a fucking condom in the vending machine. I never felt so fucked in my life. What? Come on.
Oh man. Yeah. So. It's a simple topic, but I like to change things up from time to time, guys. Not all just constant game jargon. Some things obviously are very relatable, and I think great points by everybody. I think it's kind of a win-win. It depends on what side of the fence you're on, but I just want to see movie theaters survive. I think it's a necessity. We need that form of entertainment. I want them to get back to it, but again, not at the cost of health. I say keep stuff closed as long as necessary. I want this shit to end, and it looks like it's actually restarting. So I don't know, man. It's all crazy stuff right now.
Happy you don't live here in Texas, Noof, man. It's bad here.
Yeah. like Canada was getting stuff pretty well under control, and recently we saw a spike too, because of course, while you start opening shit up, and what do people do? Let's go travel. Let's visit places. Let's bring it back, and there you go again. God. But anyway, let's get on a couple more topics before we close out the show. Halo Infinite, apparently Microsoft's confirmed now that it will have free multiplayer. Did anyone say if multiplayer is even going to launch with Halo Infinite? Because I heard there's rumors that it might not. But I think free multiplayer Halo is huge, regardless of how you get the game. I think it's still huge. It's going to be a big boost for Halo. It's a huge it's a huge balls to the wall kind of thing for their development staff and putting it out there. Like I said, I think overall that's a huge positive and a huge community boost, because the Halo itself is going to get a lot more people playing. I think it's awesome. Obviously, they've seen how free-to-play models work for so many games. It was huge for Call of Duty. Warzone is killing it out there right now. I know it's Warzone, but still, just giving more people access to play Halo is fantastic. I think it's awesome. And I think as well, because of more players coming in, I think there's definitely potential, and probably will see a battle royale mode added to Halo. I could care less for one, but I know there's lots of people out there who would love one. So I'm not opposed to people getting what they want, as long as I can still have the option to play what I want. So how do you guys feel about the potential of free multiplayer? Titan, how do you feel about that, man? Titan go for a piss
really
again?
Can you hear me? Check,
yeah, man.
check.
You're there.
You know me in the battle royale. You know that.
I do. Yeah,
so,
I know you're all for it.
But I really don't think they're going to come out with one for this game. I really don't. I think this is going to be a missed opportunity for them. Even though there was one, someone tweeted out an article that had been put out. It was like a year ago, right? They retweeted. They're like, they thought it was like brand new information. They're like, oh, well, 343 said BR isn't coming. This was so long ago that I forgot that it that had been tweeted out by them. So that was just a little funny side note. But anyways, free. I mean, guess this goes hand in hand with the gold, right?
Yeah,
free to play gold kind of multiplayer kind of thing. So, I mean, I pay for Xbox Gamepass, so I have nothing to worry about that. I mean, so I guess good for whoever doesn't. That's great. I'm glad that you can join us all in the multiplayer gaming action, because I feel like we can always use some more multiplayer gamers out there. And I could always use, half of them are probably scrubs anyways. I'd love to dominate you.
I was gonna say, speaking of domination, I was taking a lot of you guys to town real quick the other day when we were playing Halo, and we were doing that the SWAT.
And you made everybody quit.
that was the only fucking game over. All of a sudden, people are like, "Yeah, fuck this Halo shit. Let's play something else." Like, we're just dropping people like crazy. It was like me and somebody else were just going to town. Like, it's awesome. But yeah, actually, I'm sure you got great thoughts on this, and yeah, like 343 said, man. Well, at least at this point, anything can change. But they said the only way there's BR in our game is battle rifle, not battle royale. So, I don't know if Halo lends itself as well to battle royale as other games because of the nature of the way the armors and the power ups work in Halo. I mean, anything can work. I just don't know if it lends itself as well, just because of the way Halo is set up so differently than like 90% of the shooters out there.
No, I gotta disagree with you, Noof. No way, man. This is a really good opportunity. They got the big maps already. All right, who cares about the shield? So you got to take down a shield before you drop somebody. I don't care about that. I mean, it's BR, man. It's like it's the massive multiplayer. It's the fact that 100 people are in this game and one team comes out the victor. That's what it's all about. And when it gets down to that last circle, the hype, man, the adrenaline. The adrenaline is pretty much gone for me in most of the multiplayer games that I play. Unless it's BR. For some reason, that BR gives me that adrenaline, and that's what I seek. I search it out, right? Go ahead, Axel.
I got to kind of agree with Titan. I think, they have the ODST drop pods in Halo. You could do the in that way. You can come in on a Pelican as a team, pick your landing zones. It will need some rebalancing. Obviously, whoever gets the Scorpion is going to win. Just hands down. But if they remove the vehicles and make them all warthogs or something, and all the same warthog, I gotta agree with Titan on this, because I'll tell you what, when I won my first game of PUBG, the very first chicken dinner I won, I ran a lap around my house. I was so excited.
Chicken dinner, that's right. They was calling that. That's right.
I took a victory lap. That's how intense it was.
It's so funny because winner chicken dinner, real quick. Sorry, it was is from it's a gambling term, and I used to be a dealer for 10 years of my life. So, and then when they turned it into that meme and that saying in the battle royale, that was always funny for me. Go ahead.
I can't wait for Leisure Suite Larry to have a battle royale game with women in it, so that way I can say, winner taco dinner.
But as far as multiplayer going free, I'm all for it. Get more. I want to get those. You remember in the old Halo 3 how you used to be able to see how many people worldwide were online, and it had little would light up the world map.
Yeah.
1 million players online right now.
That was cool.
Oh man, and I one of my favorite parts of the old Xbox Live was that when you were waiting for a match, you could just talk mad shit all over the microphone, man. Yeah. Talk about everybody's mom. You think online is savage now. You were never part of Halo 3. That's all I got to say.
Oh man, the original, man. There was no rules. There was no getting banned for typing KYS anywhere,
Yeah. And even if you didn't type it, you were saying it. It's like, I'm going to report this person. There was no reporting.
Yeah, there was none, man. It was a free for all. You're right. I loved it.
Oh man, that was great. But that aside, but yeah, it'd be awesome to get 1 million players online again. They're gonna sell a Spartan Pass, or that's what I'm calling it, Spartan Pass, and I'm gonna buy it, man. I'm gonna be running around the field with my legendary armor on fire, or whatever the hell it is. Yeah, I'm gonna buy it. That's just the way, because buying the rec packs, the chance of unlocking cosmetics, it's just not. Yeah. It's not as good as the Apex Legends side, where you buy the battle pass in Apex Legends, and the more you play, the higher level you get, the more cool stuff you get in, like around level 53 or whatever. That's when you get your first legendary skin. Mm-hmm. And then you get to level 110 and you get your last legendary skin. And it's just, I'm going to be Spartan passing Halo all day.
Well, at the end of the day, guys, free multiplayer would be fantastic. I think it's just a boost for the game and the ecosystem for the game to obviously, gain new legs, keep old fans invested, but definitely bring a lot more new fans into Halo, because, Halo is an incredible franchise for guys like us who kind of are weaned on it from the original game down forward. But for the new generation, Halo has to do stuff differently. It has to, basically win over the Call of Duty crowd, so to speak. The kids who never came up on Halo, they kind of skipped that generation. They went right into the COD, or they went right into Battlefield and various games, or in some cases now they're into Fortnite, and the rest of these games are fucking stupid to them. They're just like, it's Fortnite. But Halo's one of the original beasts, baby. Like, outside of Doom and Wolfenstein and a couple of Unreal Tournament, Halo really is the de facto game, in my opinion. Certainly still holds up well today. Definitely excited to see what they do with the multiplayer for this game. Hopefully, you make the map selection a little less confusing than it is in Halo 5, because the other night that was just ridiculous. Because you got all these maps, but they don't show you a picture of the map. They have all these great names, but you don't really know like what map is like a legitimate map, or what's sort of like nothing on it, like not built for stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, they got to get back to like having an actual picture and a description and all that stuff. So yeah, or separate battle royale maps from Warzone maps and different things like that. So I think it's good, man. It's cool stuff. I can't wait to see what Microsoft does. Like I said, I think Halo Infinite's going to have a huge launch. I hope that the multiplayer and the campaign is ready. And that's going to be my last question on this topic too, guys. And I want to get people from the chat. Let's go back to Halo Infinite since we're on the topic. If this game is behind, so to speak, and because obviously they have a lot of work to do to get this game up looking great and obviously doing everything else, would you guys prefer a delay on this game if necessary, or is it just they have to get this out to coincide with the Xbox Series X launch? What do you think, Titan?
Wait, say that question again.
Like, do you think they should delay Halo Infinite if they feel that it's not going to meet that quality standard? Just delay it. Would you be okay with that?
I'm gonna stop you there. I said, like, immediately as soon as I saw what they had to show, I was like, this game is gonna get delayed. It's 100% in my mind. This game will get delayed. Well, I don't care when the Series X releases. This is gonna get delayed. And it's a part of the beast. It's a part of this, every game is getting delayed. Look at every single game. They're all getting delayed. And it is because of the virus. So, delay it.
Okay. Well, it's definitely going to take the wind out of the Xbox Series X launch. That's for sure. Axel, how do you feel about it? Would you say delay or just go for it?
And delay it till Christmas 2021, man. I mean, being honest here, I'd rather have Halo delayed and come out strong than have it come out and just kind of flounder for a year, much like the MCC did.
Yes.
MCC floundered for like almost 2 years.
Yes.
Halo 5 multiplayer didn't get going until about a year later. Delay it. That's all I got to say to this one. Delay the ever living Jesus out of it.
Yeah, Mr. Glass says delay if it needs it. Draven Arrow says go for it. I'm with you guys. Like it sucks. I know there's nothing bigger than riding on this game right now, like I said, but that's the whole point. They can't afford to bring this game out sort of halfway in the middle and go, well, we're going to expect our community to stand by while we make patch after patch after patch. Halo has to be a fucking product that's ready to go. This is not a Sea of Thieves franchise we're talking about. This is not one that you can take casually and go, I'm going to wait. Because the thing is, there's going to be a select group of fans that will wait for the game to sort of hit its peak. But I think if it comes out and the launch isn't like next to perfect, you're going to lose a lot of fans right at the gate. That's the problem. And they're not coming back. They're going to go quickly back to Call of Duty. You're going to quickly back to another game. And Halo's going to have like nullified servers within 6 fucking months of launch if it comes out sort of anything less than fucking be all it can be. So it'll suck. It'll really
I wouldn't
fucking
go
suck.
that far, Nuth. Like, you're going a little bit too far.
Well, updates are great, man, but like seriously, people have a very low attention span, and like I said, the diehards will stay close, but anybody else, I don't know, man. Like I just say delay it. I want the campaign to be. I'm pretty sure the multiplayer is going to turn out just fine because like that's kind of been, staple for years. But it's this campaign that I'm really concerned about, and I want this to be impressive.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, they're saying that it's already going to be added upon it, and they're already pretty much going as games of a service right now, right? Am I wrong in that?
Oh, for the most part. So yeah, you are right. You're right on that, and obviously they seem to be committed to do what needs to be through a series of updates and patches. So I'm not a fan of that model, though.
Yes, I understand that, but I guess it depends on how hardcore they want to go with that. But I think Phil is going to have this game delayed just for the fact of remember Crackdown 3. He himself had that game delayed. Yep. And boy, when it came out, can you imagine that game coming out 6 months before it did? Right? Yeah. Like he knows when a game needs to get delayed. He's going to play this game before it comes out. And I guarantee he's going to be the one that's like, you guys need to take more time.
Crackdown honestly should have been even delayed longer, but the problem was I think people got so fed up with waiting that they needed a lot. They had to have a title come out within that time frame because the game was already well over budget, well fucking played out. I think they finally said, you know what, this multiplayer is not turning out to be anywhere close to what we wanted, but fuck it, it's got to come out.
Yeah, that was unfortunate what happened with the development cycle of that having to change developers midway through and like didn't they change engines? It was something with the engines. Like I remember their tech showcase didn't show what
they had issues with the cloud. It was the bottom line, and then implementing it into a console space or something like that.
Right? Cloud Gen and mid.
Yes, that was it. Cloud Gen. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So, but anyway, like I said, I'm all for the delay, man. If it means the game is going to be as good as it can be at launch, and simple as that. So, I'm all for it. It'll suck, but you know what? We're going to have enough games to play this fall. And hopefully, there's there's some third-party titles and some other great first-party as well that can convince people to plunk down and get the new console and still be happy. So, it'll suck. It'd be really nice to have a Halo at a launch. People buying it day one. But it is what it is. Have a good night, Loon Spa. Appreciate you being here, man. And I'll try to eat some yummy tacos here soon. So no fish tacos, hopefully. Yeah, Master Chief Collection, like that game had so much potential and was literally a fucking mess for well after a year after launch. Like but the difference with Master Chief Collection, a lot of people don't understand. I think this was the crazy part here was Master Chief Collection was a collection of fucking 4 games that all had vastly different play styles and pretty much for the most part, kind of built on different hardware. I think that was a big problem. They were trying to bring 4 different styles of multiplayer, 4 different styles of graphics, trying to update it at the same time. Had to be a massive amount of code work to go into something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a train wreck move. I mean, you would get into a multiplayer match, wait 10 minutes to get matched up, and then get kicked out.
Oh, I remember.
After 10 minutes, and then you'd have to restart again. You couldn't go into lobbies with groups, and if you did, some of you would load into the match, some of you didn't. I mean, it was just a mess. And that's what I'm saying, delay Infinite if it needs it. Yes. The thing that really has some of the Halo community concerned is that there's no multiplayer beta. Halo 5 had a multiplayer beta 6 months before it was out. And here's the launch date of Halo Infinite in the next, 3 months? Potential launch date? And still no beta?
Right.
And so I mean, it's good news.
Do you think if a delay is coming, they'll announce it at the August show, or do you think they just do that separately?
No,
I think they're just going to tweet it out one day. I mean, just being honest.
Yeah, it's not exactly a highlight for a show, right? Hey, we're delaying our biggest game this year. It's on the show. Yay, way to steal the thunder, right?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to put any negatives out at a show.
Yeah.
I think tweeting it would be the best way. I mean, that's the way Cyberpunk did it. That's the way. What other game was delayed? Nintendo released a little, tweet saying that they restarted Metroid Prime 4. It's just the way to go these days, to delay it via tweet, and then the news outlets will take it from there.
Yeah. All right, last topic for the evening before we get out of here. We're over a 2-hour runtime, which is a pretty long show, but it's been fantastic, and the time has been flying. Titan Drago dropped one in my DMs about Game Rant, of course, coming from Game Rant, saying that Titanfall 3 has been teased. Titan, what do you know about this, brother, and does it get your blood excited?
Whew. Well, I mean, this is kind of you're either really for it or I don't know anyone against Titanfall 3, but I do know a lot of fans that are really clinging to the BR right now. Mm-hmm. So Titanfall 3 is obviously going to take away from that. And I personally don't see how far Apex Legends, like how many more Legends can they come out with and maintain stability, maintain the balance of the game? I think they kind of put themselves in a corner with all the abilities and stuff of that game. But Titanfall 3, it's definitely going to happen. This is the first good news, as the first thing I've seen that's positive about Titanfall 3, because I think everyone loved Titanfall 1. I love Titanfall 2. The story in Titanfall 2 was absolutely amazing. And Titanfall 3, Titanfall is, Respawn made Modern Warfare 2 my favorite shooter of all time. Favorite first-person shooter. Still the best to this day. Modern Warfare really comes close to it. It's really good, but still, I think Modern Warfare 2 it takes the cake, and it's because of that Vince Zampella. I just really wish they were not bought by freaking EA. I just that sucks. But Titanfall 3, yes, this is the first good news, and I hope we see more of this coming up soon.
Yeah. How about you, Axel? Is at least the potential or possibility of a Titanfall 3 get you excited at all?
Oh, prepare for Titanfall. That's all I got to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm coming down with my Scorch, lighting everybody on fire. All these pilots that think they're going to sneak up on me, lit on fire.
Sorry, I was trying to make the sound.
What do you mean?
The sound of a Titan dropping, but it kind of sounded like some farts were leaking out instead. So,
are you going into that DualSense 5 right now, Noof?
Oh man, awesome. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead. Titan.
Yes.
So, what?
Which Titan is your favorite?
Well, in the second one, I think I go with Tone.
Tone? Okay.
Tone. I seem to do the best with that one, so I'm going to lean mostly on that one. How about you guys?
Scorch all the way.
Scorch?
Yep.
Titan?
I didn't have a favorite. I really didn't. I liked a lot of them.
Yeah, I like the setup though of Titanfall 1 better when it came to the Titans, because you could pick the Titan you wanted and outload the weapon set that you wanted, whereas the second game had you based in classes, and I didn't like that. And I also didn't really like the whole battery format bullshit. So, I don't know. Like I said, I wish that the campaign in Titanfall 2 was amazing. That was the good side. The multiplayer was still awesome as well, but I just wish he had kind of kept it more like the original game, and I think it would have been better. They improved some stuff with actually the pilots, and some of the maps were absolutely dynamite too. But yeah, no, I mean, for me personally, Titanfall 3, bring it. I love the first two games. I would definitely love to see what's available for a third. I think they'd be kind of dumb not to take advantage of it. The biggest thing with Titanfall 3 is make sure you release it not next to another flagship title, and that it gets the proper timeline and love that it deserves. There is a massive Titanfall fan base that grew, especially after the second game. And of course, Apex Legends only actually helped it, which is ironic, because Apex Legends is sort of a knockoff of Titanfall and made by Respawn, but it's like Apex helping to sell, because we saw that right after Apex came out and hit a high of players and peaks, we saw a spike in Titanfall 2 sales, which was interesting. So I think Apex moving forward, because people have that ingrained, they starting to know the Respawn name, and they're going back and checking out Titanfall. And I think if a Titanfall 3 to come out now, I think it would garner way more success than it had in its previous two installments.
Yeah.
So much to like about Titanfall, man. Titanfall, like the next progression is BR. I mean, people are gonna hate to hear it, but BR.
Could you imagine that though? Everybody starts off in their Titan and just BRs it until one of them's left.
That would be
like
cool.
Warrior.
A Titan version of BR where you're stuck, like you can have a pilot version and a Titan version, and you're stuck in your BR and you're trying to keep this thing alive because like that would be cool with the battery because you literally have to get out at times and like go get batteries to keep your Titan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And obviously the chances of winning is going to be dramatically increased if you're still in a fucking Titan by the time you get to the end circle. Because can you imagine a pilot trying to go up against a Titan when you're in the fucking end circle?
No, well, they balanced it really well. Remember, if you're a pilot, you could jump on the back of a Titan, rip the dude out. Like
not a Scorch.
No, but that'd be cool. There's a lot. That's what I'm saying. There's a ton of potential and a lot of gameplay variety if they went with the BR with that kind of game. That might actually get me on board with more of the BR if they did it with that particular game.
It'd be hard, but the potential is there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Or scrounging for parts or something like that. Everybody starts out with a really shitty fucking Titan to start with, and you have to go like to certain sheds and find certain parts to build it up. That'd be fucking wild.
Yeah, like your Titan is just a fucking like walking mech, and then you find stuff for it. Yeah. There's man, cool. There's so many good ways you could go with
weapons
that
for yourself. You're getting weapons for your Titan. Oh man,
that'd be cool. Yeah, you go to shed and find stuff, and by the time you get to the circle, your fucking Titan's like this mega mech, and like, yeah, let's go.
Like unstoppable.
That'd be great.
I played this game during the Xbox game preview. It's called Tesla Force, like Nikola Tesla. Yeah, and in it, he has a mech, and you're running through these little levels, finding parts for your mech to assemble it. It's a power up. And so you assemble your mech, and the mech's just mowing down. It's a twin stick shooter. You're just mowing down all these waves of, I don't even know, aliens or something. And eventually your mech breaks apart, and all the parts go flying everywhere, and you got to find them again. And I'm just like, yeah, that could work for Titanfall.
Do you guys want to know a really cool idea I just had in my head for a really interesting and different take on a BR game?
What's that?
Okay, let's hear it.
Think about vampires. You start out in the dark, and you're a vampire, and you have to find various blood sources to stay highly energized. So sort of like weapons, but you will have certain weapons like maybe knives and swords, but it's not so like bullets and shit. Okay. But you'd have that, right? And you'd be going through the level, and instead of like, a blue circle closing in, it's actually the sun is coming up. And the sun is basically chasing you into the middle of the map as it comes up over the horizon, and you got to kill all these fucking people. And wouldn't that be cool? And you don't get to the fucking sun, you just burn up and crisp. And
that would be interesting.
The type of blood you drink, you get
wouldn't that be interesting? You get like certain weapons or something, like maybe like the powerful weapon in the map is like a gun that has.
It would have to be abilities. It wouldn't be guns. It would be abilities.
Abilities.
Drink blood and get abilities.
Drink blood and have certain abilities. Yeah, that'd be kind of neat.
Yeah, I could see it.
Right?
Legit. I love vampires. I downloaded this vampire game just recently, actually. It's a more strategy game, but yeah, it's in
something different, right? I think it could definitely have a following for sure.
Yeah, man. People love vampires. People love werewolves. Do it all. Yeah.
You heard it. Blood. That's when you get the most ultimate ability in the BR game.
There you go, guys. You heard it here first, and build it on an engine like the Valve engine for Left 4 Dead. Smooth and fucking fast.
Yeah.
Right? Something like that.
Definitely.
All right. Well, anyway, guys, that is the end of the show. Any final thoughts from our panel member and from our guest before we leave?
Nope. Let's call it a night, man.
Call it a night, guys. It's been awesome. It fucking flew by. Thanks, everybody in the chat. I hope that I got to give everybody the shout out. Spider-Man 356, Mr. Glass, Loon Smile, Timothy Dixon, Crazy Greek Dude, Iceman's been here. Great cast again tonight, guys. Michael Monkey Punch Lugo, Youngest 2. The list goes on and on and on, guys. You guys are fantastic. Thanks for being here. James 176, HR Bomber was in the house. Xbot 448 was here earlier too. So great crew. I think we hit nearly 40 tonight. Awesome. Timothy still here. Look at that. Awesome. I hadn't seen you chime in, Timothy, but great show. Amazing guest. And actually you killed it, brother. Thanks for being with us. Can't wait to get you back again sometime soon. Obviously, Titan is the man. He brings it each and every week. I love that shit. So, guys, and I'll start with my guest, Axel. Where can people check out your channel, your whatever, man? Like, what people know where they can track you down?
Yeah. Well, I'm only on Twitter right now at Axel1324, just like you see it on the screen. That's also my gamer tag on Xbox Live. Go ahead and add me. I'm probably gonna start streaming here in about a month or two. I'm waiting to move into a new house to see how the internet's working.
Yep.
And I'm thinking I'm just gonna stream on YouTube. Just keep it simple.
Good. Nothing wrong with that. Well, we look forward to
having me as a guest. Really appreciate it.
You'll be back, man. I'll have you back again soon, guaranteed. And of course, my esteemed guest, obviously, guys, we're hoping that Primal gets back next week. We wish her well. Hope that she gets to catch the show because this was a good one tonight. Titan, my friend, let people know where they can find the man who brings that, coming back to sense.
I bring the coming back to sense. Anyways, you know what? It's been killing me ever since Axel said in the pregame that he paid for a super chat back in the day for me to say boob physics, right? And he said I really blandly told him, right? And that's not my style, right?
Right.
Everyone knows me for being crazy.
Well, you have a chance to redeem yourself now.
That's right. I told him it caught me off guard, so that was my excuse for that. So let me make it up right now for you, Axel. This is for you, man. Boob physics.
That's what he wanted. I can hear, dude. I can hear those suckers bouncing when you said it that time. Great fucking job, guys. All right, Titan. Let people wrap it up, man. Let people know where they can catch you.
Everything at Titan Drago, everybody. Have at it.
Yep. Great night, guys. You know where to find Noof Nukem. Always in the gutter, but no, Tuesday nights here on Gaming After Dark. And, of course, community game night coming up this Saturday at 8 Eastern time. No, sorry, 10 Eastern, 8. No. Yeah? No, hang on. 8 Eastern. 8 Eastern because it's 6 o'clock my time when we do it. This week, we are actually jumping into Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the Xbox One. So I hope that you guys... the force is strong with you guys. Turn up for a great turnout. We'll love to get a big private match going there. That should be a lot of fun, especially like to get some of the spaceship battles and stuff going. I think it'd be good X-Wings and TIE fighters and all that stuff. It'd be fantastic. Looking forward to it. So hopefully I'll see a great show turnout there. Our good buddy Flamish, I think he's looking forward to actually starting it up a little bit earlier for the UK crew. So keep an eye out for that. Hopefully he drops you some info and I'll definitely tweet that out and share it with you guys. But for us, it's 8 Eastern, 6 o'clock Mountain Time on Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the Xbox One. Hope to see you guys there. So outside of that, guys, have a great night. Make sure you go follow Primal, follow these awesome cats that are on the panel, and stay well, stay healthy, have fun, and keep it real, keep it gaming, people. Love you guys. Take care.